vita.
Kuanga
Kenya sisi wote tuko low battery.
Hey,
we are surviving bwana.
Kuna wale hawako low battery my friend.
Sasa unasikia kumekuja na reveal ya refugees. Maramba pesa bwana wakimbia.
Exactly.
Anyway, tuombe kwanza. Peleka mbele za Mungu alafu tukirudi tunakuongeza mambo ya wanasiasa.
Acha tuombe. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus, we thank you for the gift of life this morning. We call you Abba Father, Jehovah Lord. We praise you for being God in our lives. Thank you for bringing us here today, Jehovah Lord. We ask you to guide us in your knowledge, in everything that we are going to say. Abba Father, may it be of use to us and to our listeners and to the country at large. In the mighty name of Jesus we pray.
Amen. Asante sana. Thank you so much. Wala watu ambao mko diaspora pale, mtasubiri kidogo nikijaribu kuona vile nitawaleta. Angalia mambo ya hiyo kidogo tuone. Haya, watu wa diaspora mtasubiri kidogo nione vile nitawaingiza pale, lakini wacha nianze na salamu ya wananchi ambao maamka. Emmanuel Salem, good morning good people. Good morning to you my brother, good to see you. Janet Kipkembai Ruto tuned in, asante Kiblaka Rotich, good morning. Afgitawa Amin, asante sana. Robbie Cheps, welcome, thank you so much, good to see you today. JB Kithimu Murimi, good morning to you my brother. Kipkali Arab Koske getting you live from Ruiru. Lynn Chelule, good morning. Good to see you Lynn. Karibu sana Lynn. Emmanuel Serem, Mamusha Isaac Serem, Leonard Serem, Honorable Moses Kibene Njiganet, Mheshimiwa Kapseret mwenyewe. Munga aluta continue all the way from Coventry, United Kingdom. Anasema yuko ndani. Morning to you, tuning in from Coventry, United Kingdom. Good to see you my brother. Karibu sana aluta Munga continue. Unajua sasa ni kama itabidi sasa land you over. Kwa sababu mine alipotea, land you over to Munga aluta continue. From UK. Lazima ufike UK. Lazima ufike London bwana. Haya.
Mlisema tu mlisafi iende change.
Iende na kamba. Haya. Rebecca Munga, Mrs. Munga mwenyewe, mwalimu anasema GB umenichekesha, umenichelewesha kuingia morning. Pole sana nimewachelewesha kidogo. Joseph Jelotu Mnangata anasema tuned in. Boniface Churiat tuko locked down kabisa tukiwa hapa airport. Asante. Eric Biago anasema in. Haya, karibu sana. Collins Misoya anasema good morning to my brother Joseph Nyanguti. Good morning. Mandela Nyakoe from Florida, good to see you bro, good to see you my brother. Ernest Cheriot watching from Karen, thank you. MC Kalia, good morning. MC Kalia chairman Menokicha Kettle Dip, good to see you. Odwari Davis anasema yuko tuned flesh rich, naona meka asijui how to bet. Mambo ya betting bwana tuliacha, sasa tunangangana na maisha. KIPRO TICH Koromicha anasema good morning team Takol watching live from Nakuru CBD, welcome back. Asante sana KIPRO TICH Koromicha, good to see you. Sikukuona when I didn't see you on Tuesday, right? Haya, MC Kali anasema Lucia baby. MC Kali bwana utalala nje bwana. Na hivi nyakafi inaanza saa 2. Haya, Lawrence Kigan Kiblaka anasema good morning class is really locked in. Lucia AYIELA karibu sana. Ruben Cheluge anasema good morning 20 from Garissa, karibu Lucia AYIELA. Rebecca Munga, nice to know that Lucia is back. Karibu sana mrembo, tumekumiss. Ulisahau majengo bwana. Unasahau majengo. Chunga sana. Kato Kipro sasa watching from Naivasha. Asante Kimadel baba yao ndani nikiwa Karen. Abraham Kipkwacha so good morning to tackle. Asante sana kwa Kipkemoi. Baba Fidel watching live from Baringo County pamoja. Asante sana Ambassador Alfred Sajan all the way from the land down under Australia. So following good morning from the land down under. Thank you so much for the Australians. We really appreciate you. Lashamu Roti Jr. Good morning Jeremy Bitok watching live from Nairobi. MC Kalia net yangu ama yenu. Kwani kuna shida gani kaka? Natumai kwamba tuko swafi kabisa. Kwa Kipkemoi Baba Fidel anasema watching live from Baringo. Good morning Mogotio area pamoja. Asante sana Kiama Kashai tuned in. Stephen Flames Otomaga tuned in from Thika, just sanitizing, masking, observing social distance and resisting BBI. Stephen Flames Otomaga kirani. Wewe. Afikin MC. Huyo ametoa form, ametoka na rada yake. Vixen MC. Victor Kirui from Kipkaren ni Eldoret. Asante sana Yusefa Light. Welcome back Lucia. Unakaribishwa sana. Yusefa Ken Kip Kentai. Good morning to you. David Kimani Subukia tuned in as always. Asante sana watu Subukia. Dixon Koech tuned in from Ngong. Asante Nathan Kipro Arab Koech. Kipto Arab Koech morning Arabi talk niko ile kutoka Endebes constituency Trans Nzoia. Asante sana watu wa Trans Nzoia. Wilson Chedelgo morning GB tuned in from Pangani. Asante sana. Jalimamba jamaa watu wa Pangani kwa Kipke Mamba Fidel asema watching live from Baringo. Asante sana Moses Omondi. Hello Omondi bwana. Omondi, good to see you my brother, karibu sana Moses Omondi, karibu sana Moses Omondi, good to see you my brother. Nilikuwa pale Kibra na kina Moses Omondi, you doing a very good job Moses Omondi, really issue takuja natembea pale tuje kwenye jukwaa na kina Lucia kuja tuambie mambo ya vijana na hapa TICH pia ana kijana chari kabisa anapiga siasa ya vijana, atakuja pale jukwaa kama kunji linge mpaka Kibra ndani. mahali siasa inapigwanga tangu asubuhi mpaka asubuhi nyingine inakuja masaa zinakutana. Moses Omani, thank you so much for what you're doing in Kibra. Charles Kangwana anasema the boy from talented boy from Kisii, asante sana, swafi sana kijana Kangwana. Kipkorir Wesley, Kip Samuel anasema from Kaptembwa Nakuru, what can we do as used to ensure that our voice is heard and respected always, other being told that we are tomorrow's leaders. Ndio maana tuko na hii platform ya vijana tuweze kuzungumza, tujue ni vipi tunaweza endesha Kenya yetu. Evan Sarap Serone, good morning GB watching live from Nakuru, asante sana tu Nakuru. It's good to see you. Good morning General, tuned in from Nandi. Niko reserve kidogo. Hayo umetoka Eldoret umeenda mashirani. Salimia watu wa Nandi sana. Charles Kangwana sama Kisii of course representer wao Kangwana the boy ako hapa kama kawa. Asante sana kama kawa kama dawa. Good to see you Charles Kangwana. Akaroki wa Masi tuned in from Kayole. Asante sana, na kwa niaba yako nataka nisalimia watu wa Nyeri. Najua hapo umesahau. Akaroki wa Masi na watu wa Nyeri wote salimikeni. Abedi Pop Kapombe salimia Lucia AYIELA. Lucia bwana, hata mimi salimii bwana. Isaac BKN. Lucia karibu. Jokiro Kokiro watching from Kericho. Julian Yokabi, good morning Taklas, karibu sana Lucia. Moses Omondi Kibera number 8 tuko locked. Asante sana tu number 8. Thank you so much for hosting us over the weekend. We'll keep coming so that we can have a conversation together. Enes Cheria anasema vile watu wana big up huyo mdema, anzisha sasa patanisho. Haya mtawezana. Okonko mtawezana. Haya Jeffrey Masha Kasarani tuko tuned in. Dixon Coach watching live from Mbulbul Ngong, asante sana. Don Maverick, good morning, watching from the CBD. Doro anasema RGB Aro Doro good to see you. Kiprotich anasema I like the zeal displayed by Kiprotich. Can't wait to hear from him. My jirani Lucia AYIELA, pokea salamu kutoka Nakuru. Kumbe Kiprotich ni jirani, unatoka Liten? Oh, okay, interesting. So very jirani wa Kiprotich Korombicha. Kumbe Kiprotich wako wanoma. Jackson James Ngoy watching from Iben Sergoit. Naona ziara zao hujaniambia. Anabi. Yes, Kangwana naja lini tutakol. Karibu sana mwenzangu. Chepchep Kibri Rose, good morning. Dan Kibet Eldoretin Kuto Elisha watching live from Kericho. Balso alas Ismalu. Anasema Mandera is tuned in. You guys are well. Alikuwa masebedu Lucia. Evans Kipkoech Asla Landimawe niko ndani kabisa. Asante sana tu Landimawe. Nasikia mnatafuta wewe ndio unaomba MC Landimawe mwanani. Good morning team Tako, happy to see you. Salimia Lucia sana. Huyu David Kamau, Robbie Charles, my all time crush Lucia AYIELA. Welcome back sweetheart. Mwanzo kunilipa mahari sasa ni installment. Muniwekea kitu. It's good to see you. This is a Tackle on Thursday 29th of April 2021. This is a Tackle. Tackle begins now. State of the Nation with Lucia AYIELA and Kiprotich Ngeno. Jambo Kiprotich. It's good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Thank you for having me in the show and to discuss the state of the nation and how the country, the direction the country is going in politically. So, Pitok, as young people in this country, we must be alive.
I need you to sit straight, please.
Okay. Pitok, we must be alive with what is going on, and young people should come out very strongly to correct the state of affairs in this country. As it is at the moment, the country is heading in the wrong directions. And you have seen the recent survey done by, I think, I don't remember the firm, it shows that the 68% of Kenyans believe that the country is headed in the wrong directions. And 75% of this country is young people. So I'm urging the young people to really wake up and stand up for the country. Thank you.
Okay, Lucia.
Yes.
You see, your boyfriends are giving me a lot of problems here. Anyway, how have you been?
Gerald,
what's the state of the nation?
Yo maneno ya boyfriends tutaangalia baadaye. Watu wa Litein wanakaanga kama mimi hivi. Unajua naangalia the color contrast between you two and it is unbelievable.
Mimi ni Mturkana bwana. Mturkana.
Inakaa nafaa nitembee huko Litein.
Light skin, mnatafuta light skin.
Walisema siku hizi tumeacha kutafuta hizo vitu zingine kama mkono wako haina veins. Your dance.
Nasikia siku hizi mnaangalia watoto knuckles. Mjue au the tana. Nataka kwa viberiti uanza kuingia sije. What is the state of the nation, Lucia?
Bana, state of the nation. I'm hard pressed. I don't know where to start from. The poll done, I think it was Infotrack or Ipsos Synovet. I'm not sure.
Infotrack.
Yeah, Infotrack. So for the first time in a very long time, a majority of Kenyans agree. Do you know how absurd that is, Gerald? Wa Kenya tukubalianangi. Like we are never in the same basket, you know. Inakwanga kama wewe ni Man U, mimi ni Arsenali. Like we just never agree on things. For 75% of the population to agree that we are headed in the wrong direction, manze tumepoteza plot yani. Because hata hao mafala si mafala tena, you know. And it brings me to what was being discussed in Parliament yesterday, the BBI. Yeah. We are in the middle of a pandemic, the third wave, yeah? We have an economic crisis. We're in recession. Our healthcare system is in shambles. So is our education system. We have Kenyans being rendered homeless by the government. You know, like we have real life problems. Alafu watu wanaitwa from recess, not to come to discuss how Kenyans are going to get vaccines, not to come to discuss how the economy is going to be revamped, not to even discuss the fate of our children who are supposed to be going back to school in about 2 weeks. We are not talking about the state of the nation. We are talking about a useless plagiarized document called the BBI. Like, what is that? BBI ni nini?
Hata mimi sijui.
Kusema tu ukweli. And you know, the lie, the hypocrisy, when our leaders come before us and they tell us, tunawafanyia kazi, we have your best interests at heart. And they come from recess. We are dying of hunger. We have no jobs. We are dying of COVID. We are dying of malaria. You know, HIV patients don't have drugs.
Very sad.
And they are there discussing the BBI report that adds no value to any single Kenyan, not even Raila himself. It adds no value to any of us. So where are our priorities at? You know?
Yeah.
Retired people have not been getting their pension, Gerald.
Wow.
Retired people. And some of these people are people who've worked for the army. You know, if I was President Gerald, I would take very good care of my security and defensive forces. Because, man, when shit goes down, those are the people you want to fight for you. It took an army general in Zimbabwe to get Mugabe out of power. You know, like you don't want to mess with those people and their welfare. So the fact that these people are not getting their pension after serving this country,
it's a dangerous president.
Oh my God. It's a ticking time bomb. It's a ticking time bomb. Somebody please slap Mr. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and wake him up because he's asleep. And this slumber...
Is he sleepwalking? Because I saw him in Nyeri.
Probably he's sleepwalking because trust me, whatever he's doing doesn't look like it's coming from someone with a conscious mind who's awake. And that slumber is going to be the end of him. He's going to leave this seat and no single person is going to have one positive thing to say about Muigai Kenyatta after he's done being president. Like, I'm even struggling right now to, what's one positive thing I can say about our president? Continue with the show. I'm thinking about it.
Anyway, I don't know what you think is a state of things. I know you've also told us about the state of the nation. Anyway, also closer home in Somalia, Farmajo has backed down after seeking an extension of his term for 2 years. Kimomana huko walikanyagana siku mbili, kabidi amesema sasa ni maachilia, so he's going to cancel. He's requested the parliament to cancel his extension of his term, as we to see. Also back in Chad pale pia mambo ni mingi. So within the African region, I think there is a lot of good examples on what happens when leadership does not hold its water together. So are we not going to experience the same in Kenya, as Lucia is almost suggesting? But anyway, let's go to...
We are already on that trajectory, though. We are already on that trajectory. If you really look at it, serikali ya nusu mkate, they borrowed a leaf from what happened in Zimbabwe. You know, the monopolization of state businesses. What do I say? Organizations, parastatals. It's the same thing that happened in Angola. It's the same thing that has happened in Chad. It has been happening in Congo. It has happened in Zimbabwe. We are basically borrowing a leaf from the worst experiences in our continent. You know, right now, the BBI, this is something that Zambia tried. There's nothing new that we are doing. And you know, Gerald, rather than borrow the good practices like the free, fair and credible elections of Ghana, you know, we are just borrowing the worst things, the worst things. We want to go the Mugabe way. We want to go the dictatorship way rather than just be progressive and true to ourselves. You know, it's sad. And it's actually, to be honest, annoying.
Okay.
Gerald, let me come in. I want to disagree a little bit with Lucy on saying that we are going in the direction of Chad or Somalia, because I believe our military is professional. We have come from far to go back to that direction. But to agree with her on, I want to tell her that slapping the president at the moment cannot wake him up. In fact, I want to agree most Kenyans, let him sleep and finish and go. Because essentially, Gerald, our president is out of touch with the reality. And like Lucy said, they summoned Parliament for a special sitting and not discuss the urgent issues in matters economy. You know, when Corona came in last year, and we instituted some forms of lockdown, at least we had a reprieve in terms of tax reliefs and fund incentives which was sent from the government. But recently, the president imposed a lockdown and nothing. He talked nothing about incentives. So what we are saying is, if you want to know that our president is really out of touch with the reality, there was a time he was asked, what is the price of bread? And he said 250 shillings. And that is our president.
You never know, maybe pia kuna mkate ya 250 ile ya
iko lakini hiyo inapatikananga pale Carrefour. Uwezi ipata Naivas.
Gerald, hiyo si ya raya kaida. So essentially what we are saying,
sasa mga specify, mngesema mkate ya huko na ya huku. Yeah, specifically ni gani?
That is why we are saying the urgent matters this country should be addressing at the moment, from Parliament to the executive, is how to revive the dwindling economy. You cannot blame the corona on a dwindling economy, because even before corona came, our economy was doing very badly. And the priorities of the president and his brother Raila Odinga is entirely wrong in form of BBI. I was surprised yesterday, Gerald, the majority leader in National Assembly, said, I welcome members of this parliament to revolution. In terms of the claiming the BBI is a revolution. What revolution, Gerald? The revolution we need now is this country to rise up as Kenyans, especially the young people. We don't have the power of the dollars, but we have the power of the numbers to make a decision in 2022 that our economy can no longer be managed at the top level. We need serious paradigm shift in form of how we address our affairs, especially those that pertains our ordinary, the basic necessities that Kenyans need to have on a daily basis. Gerald, you remember very recently, Kenyans came out in large numbers on social media to criticize IMF for loaning Kenya, stop loaning Kenya. And you saw what happened from the state. They started intimidation, the use of police to harass activists like Mutemi Wakiyama. We are saying, Gerald, that is archaic, that is barbaric, that is a long gone. Our constitution, Gerald, give us freedom of expression and Bill of Rights. And under Article 1, we as citizens, we have the sovereign power. And when we talk of stop loaning Kenya, we are seeing what is happening in the government. This government of Uhuru Kenyatta has lost credibility in terms of accountability to the public. They are only accountable to themselves and the ruling class. So we are saying, Gerald, in this country, let the president, the only legacy Uhuru can salvage at the moment is the respect to the constitution. And it starts with respect to the judiciary, obeying of court orders. As we speak, this government has developed a selective approach to constitution and the rule of law. They only obey the rule of law, the orders from the court, when it favors the government. And they disregard the orders from the court when it does not favor the government. So essentially what you are saying, Gerald, what is good for the gander, what is good for the gander should also be good for the
goose.
For the goose.
Yes.
Okay.
So.
All right. Asante sana, Lucia. We talked about this mambo ya CJ. I want us to talk about the issues ya CJ. What you guys feel about it? If you feel like she deserved it. Also, a friend got here has come on Gas Blessing and anasema he has been rigged. And usually he was presenting some other guy who had been accused of rigging. Anyway, thank you for the partners of working with us. Maridadi Motors. Maridadi Motors gives you an opportunity to import your vehicle from wherever you want to import it from, and you get to save up to 300,000 Kenya shillings when you import it in Maridadi. Maridadi Motors also gives you an opportunity to invest your money on Maridadi Import import to sell, you get to import your vehicle. Unaweza kuleta direct alafu unaweza kuuziwa. There's a lot of us who want to do something with our money that we have as a surplus. If you have some money that is lying somewhere, you can invest it and you get the returns up to 15%. And you invest with Maridadi Motors. Maridadi Motors gives you an opportunity to invest your money and you get 1 up to 15%. Unaingiza gari lako kwenye jina lako, hao ndio wanakufanyia mambo yote, alafu wanaweza kuuzia gari hiyo biashara kwa hela zako ambazo umeziwekeza. Unaweza kupata hadi 15% kwenye faida. Alafu pia Maridadi Motors yako inakupa nafasi ya kuweza kusave kama unataka kuwekeza hela. Just saving culture imeanza kufa na generation yetu, lakini unaweza save hela pale Maridadi Motors yako. Kama unataka tu kusave you can save, lakini kama unataka kusave ununue gari, you can save up to 50% of the value of the car that you want to import. Alafu nyingine unaweza kukuletea, unaleta gari alafu hizo pesa zingine unalipa polepole. 50% unaweza kuwekeza kwenye Maridadi Motors yako, alafu nyingine unaweza kuweka polepole. Tunawekea Lucia pia 50%, unaweza kupata Locomot, alafu ile 50% nyingine tunaweka. So Maridadi Motors yako inakupa nafasi ya kuweza kuwekeza hela zako. Alafu Maridadi pia inakuweza nafasi ya kuweza kujifunza shule. Kuna Maridadi Driving Academy, sio driving school. Unajua kuna driving school na driving academy. Driving academy unaenda pale unaweza kufunzwa vizuri, unaweza kuendesha gari unatoka ukiwa driver Maridadi kabisa. Alafu kuna Motor Spark Clean. Unajua nakuanga kibarua pale every week. So leo pia nakuwa kibarua pale Spark Clean Motors Theater Mall pale nyuma, nitakuwa naosha magari. Kuja ukileta gari yako na useme unanijua, nakupa kiolda haraka upesi, alafu unasonga naye. Alafu pia kuna watu ambao wanakupea airtime. Unaweza kuload airtime. Kuna watu wengine ambao tunatumianga Airtel Lines, na tunaweza tumia Airtel Lines. Kuna Swift Airtime inakupa nafasi ya kuweza kuload airtime yako. Swift Airtime inakupa nafasi ya kuweza airtime yako 325325, that's pay bill number. Alafu account ni namba yako ya simu. Pia unaweza kununua tokens ya tokens ambazo ya power tokens ya KPLC. 325325 is a business number, alafu is a business number, alafu account namba yako ya simu. Pia kuna wale majamaa wengine ambao wanaita Zigo. Kama unataka kufanya delivery, you can trust Zigo to deliver. Zigo inaweza kufanya delivery haraka upesi. If you also want to advertise with us, unachapa inbox pale haraka upesi, ama unanipigia simu, tunaweza kuzungumza kwa nambari ya 731027727 02777. Sana Maridadi Motors, asante Zigo, na asante pia watu wa Airtime Swift Airtime, asante sana hapo Zigo. Naona nabeba mzigo kabisa na motorbike haraka upesi. Lucia, mambo ya CJ? Kidogo you are a woman. Nataka kutuongea kitu moja.
So hapo unajua hapo kidogo ndo wamenicheza by the way, wamenicheza mbaya. Because it's the present is feminine, which is a very good thing, you know. When I finally have a daughter, she's going to be brought up in an environment where she'll see women in powerful positions. You know, we have President Samia Suluhu, you know. We have Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. It's very important for young girls to start seeing women in these positions of power, so that when you tell your daughter you can be anything you want to be, they can believe it, you know. But there's the other question of merit, and whether this nomination was based on merit, or whether it was because this is a Mudhamaki stan, you know. This is the one thing that I really wish I had the power to make disappear or to take back. The phrase that the president said he will revisit when it comes to the judiciary. And that puts a stain in any good intention that is there. I'm happy for the Chief Justice nominee, Martha Koome. I'm very happy for her, you know. I saw her relatives speaking on TV yesterday, and I'm thinking if I was a child of that village, I would also be there, like say, hey, we are to so and I'm nini, all these nice things that people say. But there's dissenting voices concerning that nomination. Okay. I'm not saying in a perfect situation everyone would agree, but then life is not perfect, so there will always be dissenting voices. But then some of the questions that are being raised concerning that nomination kind of tug at the heart of our democracy, because if this is the person that the president deems fit, A president who has not deemed it fit to appoint 41 judges. A president who has not deemed it fit to respect that arm of government, it then brings a lot of doubt and a lot of question. And there's something that Wandia Njoya posted on Twitter. It's a very long post, and I wish people would read it and see it. And I'm as a Kenyan, I'm at a place where it's hard to trust my government, honestly. If anything is good for me as a Kenyan, I know my government is not going to do it. So when government does things, it then begs the question, who's going to benefit from it? What are we playing at right now, with everything that's going on? The Chief Justice nominee has a background in human rights defending, and that kind of gives me hope. And I'm hoping she can stick to that path. I really hope that is the path she chooses she chooses to stick with, because wherever she is, I can assure her that if she sticks to that path, she's going to have the backing of all other Kenyans. And when the judiciary has the backing of the masses, anything is possible. In Malawi, they understood that. The judiciary was heavily backed by the military and by the people. And that's why they had the guts to make a ruling that would have costed them their lives. But then they were sure that our people are behind us and this is the right thing to do and this is the thing that we're doing. So I'm really hoping, for the sake of every other woman who's trying to find an opportunity to be something, that Chief Justice nominee Martha Koome sticks to defending human rights and the rule of law. And I'm hoping she can be a strong voice and she can set a precedence for every other person who comes after her.
Okay. All right. Now, when we talk about this, something I want to draw in when you talk about Historia or Koome, sexualizing the whole thing, like she's a woman, it means finally believe. Is it an issue of merit, or where do you get to a point where people can compete and we don't have to? Because then if we throw in the sexual card, it means the gender card, it means that she did not qualify. Like, we're happy that she's a woman, and let's admit that she's a woman. Let's not talk about the credibility and all that. How are we going to get to a point where we say we're giving someone, are we giving LUCIA an opportunity because she is capable of doing it, of delivering?
I think the gender card comes in because of all the gender equity wars that we're having. It's the nini nilitumika kuvutia wanawake kwa BBI 50-50 thing, the gender rule, something, all those things. It's the in thing right now. When you bring up, hey, women power, you look and sound cool. So everyone wants to sound and look cool. But here's another narrative that I've had that is very interesting to me, because when she was dominated, then there was a group of men who went and said, the deputy CJ is a woman, I don't know, the head of what somewhere in the judiciary is a woman. So there's about like 5-6 women. And it's now the men who are complaining about the lack of gender parity in that situation. And where I am, Gerald, it's like, you people take several seats and eat humble pie. Like, just let the women prosper, No, several. Like, wachaneni tunao mama bana, like we've really struggled for a very long time to get to this place. But it's good that we are getting to a place where we now are about to start understanding that when we talk about gender equity, we're not talking about the women. We are talking about both men and both women. Because in 25 years, if the president is a woman, the deputy president is a woman, the governor of Nairobi County is a woman, the governor of, the top 5 major counties, are, if they are ruled by women, then the men are going to be up in arms. And then the gender wars will now be considered a what? A men's war. Because now when we talk about gender, it's considered a woman's war. So let the women shine. And it's cutting across the board. Hata ukiangalia performance ya KCP, manze, girl child.
Pia Kibrazi Korobicha anasema some unverified newspaper cutting was trending on Twitter about WSR warning the CJ nominee that he will stick on her land. She was a HRD then. I think it's a doctored news, of course. Also there's another news that come with Kibaki actually calling out some MPs on the time. So that's doctored kwa sababu hii inasema 99, advertisement inasema 92. There's an advertisement ya Laser. So I think that was just some doctored things ya kuweza kutusukuma kuinje. Naona chapter query that's ameingia. Asante sana. Now let me ask you, my good friend.
Yes.
This proceeds now. Friend Ngatia is crying for that he was rigged out. I don't know how you know you are rigged out, because maybe you are having expectations. Labda kama unakama ambio kitu ni yako bwana. Hiyo kitu ni yako. Yeah, because how do you know you've been rigged out? And then also the other thing is now we are here, and the president has already forwarded a name to Parliament for vetting and approval. We have 41 judges who are still lying at the bench, who are waiting to be taken to the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeal. That is the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal. Na shughuli za Court of Appeal zimekwama as we speak. I don't know what you're feeling about the whole process of getting into the CJ position. Whether you feel she'll be able to win the storm as it is, and what do you think about the president's action?
Okay, Gerald. Before I come to Ngatia and the president action forwarding her name to Parliament. Mm-hmm. First of all, for my part, I welcome Justice Martha Koome's nomination, basically because he was among one of my favorites to Peter CJ. Or in fact,
we are for Marathi, the people's CJ. Yeah. In fact, now we are going to demonstrate.
I was unashamedly for huko.
Watu wa Marete wataswai on Friday. Wanasema watakutana
Uhuru Park Friday.
Uhuru Park. Friday. But having said that, Gerald, Martha Koome is actually qualified in terms of merit. Maybe now the question will come in where Ngatia comes in, that he was rigged out, because basically whenever interviews of such kind comes in public, it behoves on JSC at least to tell the public the specific scores of each and every candidate, such that for the public to believe. And that is why I support the Makau Mutua's case in court to compel GSC to make public the scores of which every candidate. So that was Martha Koome among the top, or was he the top candidate? You see, when GSC came out to announce the name of Martha Koome, they said the GSC has unanimously approved
yes.
Martha. But we have seen in the past, even interviews of IEB's German commissioner, the selection panel forwarded 2 names to the president. One from, I think it was Kantai. It was in 2016 there. Kantai and Chebukati. Chebukati was the lowest. But the president, I don't know in his wisdom on what, choose Chebukati. But now, and even in interviews for managing directors of state parastatus, normally the interviewing panels or the boards send 3 names to the cabinet secretaries with their scores. So we are wondering why JSC is hiding the scores of previous candidates. And I think if they come out publicly, and then that will answer Ngatia's question, whether he was really rigged out or what. But for Martha Koome's nomination as a woman is actually welcome. And you see her acceptance generally across the board. It's not really because she is qualified or not. It's really because it's a woman. But I want us to move from the fact that the gender card, that she's a woman, whether she's really capable to lead the judiciary, which has been seriously interfered. It has serious threats from the executive. If we don't watch in the next 2 years or so, we will no longer be having a judiciary. And in the subsequent election, remember in 2007, Gerald, this country went on chaos. Simply because the candidate, yes, there was a disputed election. Yes. And Raila Odinga was an opposition leader, said, I'm not going to court.
Yes,
because Kenyans had lost trust in the courts. So the huge task which Martha Koome will have is to reclaim that trust on Kenyans on the court, to tell them that our judiciary is still firm, and to stand up for the executive like CJ Maraga. And you see CJ Mutunga and CJ Maraga have left a very good legacy in terms of judiciary, in my view. And Maraga especially, we still remember Maraga coming out and addressing the president directly, and he went home with his head high, with high approval relating from Kenyans. So Martha Koome will be, task is very huge. The task which will, like for now, appointment of 41 judges, the president will appoint him. The first question she should ask the president, why is he appointed
when we still have
as a commander and he doesn't have soldiers to fight with her? So, and I agree, the main reason why the president refused to appoint 41 judges is is making good his threat when he said we shall revisit. And I like to appeal to the president. Kenyans are looking at you. You are the appointing the executive authority of this country. JSC interview those candidates. Please appoint the 41 judges. And I think for Martha Koome, he should come now to reclaim the credibility of the judiciary and increase access to justice. Because you see now people are complaining to get your file in registered. There's a lot of manual things. I think he should do some serious reform in the judiciary. And I think as a country we shall reclaim constitutionalism again.
Okay. All right. I would want to pull in.
I want to agree with something that he has said. You know, you as a commander, you cannot go to war without your soldiers. And if I was Martha Koome, I wouldn't accept that nomination until those 41 judges are appointed. You know, I'd give it as a condition to me accepting the nomination, because then it doesn't make sense to say that we are strengthening the judiciary, or we are for judicial reforms, and then we don't increase the capacity of the judiciary. The other thing, and I think this should be paramount, the judiciary needs to bargain for better allotment when it comes to budgeting. Parliament gets a higher allotment than the judiciary. Parliament, which is in one county, you know, and the judiciary is in all 47 counties. It has more staff than Parliament. It doesn't make sense, Gerald. If you have a family of 5 and I tell you, fine, I'm going to give you a salary depending on the size of your family, and my brother here has a family of 2, and then I give him more than what I'm giving you. It doesn't make sense at all. And if the president is really serious about this, then the nominated CJ needs to hold him accountable to it, you know? Like, if we're going to fight corruption, give me the people who are going to help me to fight this corruption. Where I disagree with my brother is when he says he's appealing to the president. Our president does not understand that language. Bwana president, ni kazi yako banafanya. Tunakulipa mshahara ndio uifanye. We are not appealing.
We refuse to appeal.
No, we refuse to appeal. We are appealing what? No, it is your job. We put you there to do it. Wake up and just do it.
Aya pale YouTube pia naona Njue Njaga sabalezia good morning KG and some good morning to you guys. Thank you so much for the guys also on YouTube. We appreciate you. Happy to see you. Lucia, some you are not appealing. No. Bana isamuka bwana fanya kazi. Haya. You guys are on to pull in Arama also from the other side of the studio. Nasijui team yake leo imeenda wapi, naona amesambaratika peke yake. Lakini karibu sana Arama, jambo. Hello Arama. Sikusikia, hebu niangalie nani ya Zoom pale producer. Nisikumie niwashe Zoom hapo. Na kama hujasukuma pia kidude ya Zoom hapo. Monitor hii hapo.
Hebu imagine umerudi nyumbani jioni, unapata nyumba ni chafu, alafu unaambia mfanyikazi wako, I am appealing to you to clean the house.
Hi. Arama. Bado sikusikii. These are knobs. Munaingiza na wapi Zoom. Anyway, wacha turudi huko kwa kina Lucia, alafu tutaangalia, sipati sauti ya Arama huko. Don't know what's going on. Anyway, wacha niangalie comments. Naona Rebecca Mungasema wewe Lucia is on fire. Dennis Ndumi anasema salimia Lucia. Amesalimia Kosli Koech, anasema watching live from Kakamega. The tackle is late. Thank you. Saida Slimo salimia mtukufu rais bunge la mwananchi. Asante. Stan Meli, we should encourage equality, otherwise we will be sidelining one gender in favor of another. In the recent past, it's all been about promoting girl challenges. However, it's now emerging that boy child is becoming sidelined. Dennis Ndumi, president lazima abembelezwe Lucia. He's sensitive and delicate.
Wait, pastor. No. Bibi lazima abembelezwe. She's delicate and sensitive.
Wewe hapana tambui mambo mengine.
Mwanaume mwenzako waachana na yeye please.
Hello, Arab Keme. Lucia is here today. Greetings, Lucia. Asante Sami Meli. We are not appealing. Unye afanye kazi. Haya. Naona nani pale juu pia, naona Sheila Jepkorir, good to see you, umepotea sana Sheila, anasema I'm around, asante sana, good morning to you Sheila. Adada Skomora, good morning Bruce Lee is Lisadia, wow, she's back, welcome back Lucia Yela. Kabon Sara watching, asante Magji Wanaina, Jepta Kwiri Red Haim, umesalimika, karibuni sana. Naona Nathan Kiproti Charab Kwecha anasema shared sa getting live the conversation inafika kila mtu mashinani. Asante sana watu wa mashinani, I really appreciate you. If you have not shared the broadcast, please click the share button. Tafadhali piga share pale. Naona listen sama, thank you. Baking Kaino Junior, good morning good people. Good morning to Kareko Amasi. This is why I was missing Lucia. She's picking a mind, and it's the reality of the state of the nation. Haya. Arun Nderi to morning GB. Good morning to you, Arun, and thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for being so proactive in sharing. We really appreciate. Naona pia naona Benjamin J Bongogo, anasema Lucia speaking so well and you are looking gorgeous too. Good talk. Haya, asante. Arun Nderi anasema Lucia Yela, welcome back. We had missed you a lot. PK Kasrim, informative conversation. Iko moto, asante. Good morning. Esther Mudoni Ndirango, ndani, asante sana, ndani. Haya, Beking Junior, salimia Lucia sana, patriot. Esther Mudoni Ndirango, Chonjo Vipi family, greetings from Texas. Asante sana watu wa Texas, America. Let's do the diasporans. Ana Kiprotiko Romicha anasema feminist wanasema the future is female, waiting to hear Lucia Yela's comment on this. Haya, the future is all of us. Unless kuna watu ambao wanashuka kwa hii matatu ya dunia. Haya, Mary Robert sama good morning. Magji Walena sama morning, blessed day. Asante chipa, let's have a good one my friend. Okay, anasema some okay, hiyo nilikuwa nimesoma ya gazeti. Haya, naona Dennis tumesema presidency in Kenya is like those rude bank tellers. It's your money but you have to queue and withstand the attitude. Ben Menja said to Lucia she has gotten lost for some time. She's back. Bell KIPRO, morning tackle crew, everyone should be treated equally. Haya, Chumba Edu KIPRO, good reminder our leaders that if they want to continue leading us, watch the feelings, emotions na pombe nyumbani. Haya, Simeon Gata Lucia on fire. Anita Chesira, good to see you Lucia, welcome back. Umekuja na moto. Ernest Cheriat, with the way people are rushing to appoint women reminds me of the Laros song that women will one day rule us and we shall start washing utensils. Tayari umeshaanza kuosha. Hata kama uoshi kwako ni kubaya bwana, kibaumana. Haya, wale niwacha nisikie kama tayari naweza pata ndugu yangu Arama. Hata Arama mwenyewe amepotea simpati. I think una shida pale. Anyway, haya, acha turudi hapa tuangalie magazeti. Lakini kama unaweza piga simu State of the Nation 0779-800-010, State of the Nation 0779-800-010, 0779-800-010, State of the Nation 0779-800-010. Bunge la Mwananchi iko wazi 0779-800-010. Naweza piga simu tuambie ni nambari nimeweka pia sio nambari sahihi. Acha nipige edit kidogo. 0779-800-010. Okay, jambo Arama.
Hey, how are you?
Salama sana boss, jambo.
Salama sana. Inaonekana speaker yako umeweka chini kidogo, but I'm back now. I think my microphone had a problem.
Oh, your mic had a problem, huh?
Yeah.
Unanisikiza?
So I had to log out and then log back in.
All right, I get you.
Yeah.
Mambo ya anyway, you have any observations that you made through the week?
First of all, let me start by, can you swing the camera a little bit? I need to see my wonderful and awesome sister. She's welcome back officially.
Hi.
Lucille, karibu sana, I've missed you. Ulienda wapi? Nifikiri umeomoka sasa ukatuacha.
Bado nilikuwa tu huku shughuli za kujaribu hapa na pale kutafuta butter for the bread.
Okay. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming back and welcome back.
Asante.
Yeah. So Gerald, we have a lot of things this week. Naona we are about to get a new Chief Justice, a lady. I was struck today, Gerald, if you are not a member of parliament, you will be arrested anyhow. But if you're a member of parliament, you get arrested, people go on strike.
Amesema kwanza, speaker amesema nobody should arrest any member of parliament without his approval.
Yeah. Sisi wote tujiita wabunge tu alafu ndio tusishikwe na polisi.
Sasa nataka ujiita hata mimi mbunge. Nianza na jina mbunge kabla ya jina yangu.
Mheshimiwa Gerald Bitok.
And then yeah, it's amazing. We just finished on our side up and we just finished the set of union address, President Biden. tuliangalia kidogo. It was a nice speech. We are hoping for better things and we will see. On top of that, niliona video clip ya Wakenya wakiruka kutoka ghorofa sijui, was that second floor or third floor, where people are jumping not to be arrested by police.
Ogopa Wakenya bwana. Kwanza niliona kuna kadem kalishuka style nyingine noma sana bwana. Nifikiria ni wanaitwanga ni Superman. Ama ni Spider-Man.
Yeah. So to me those are the things. And then speaking on the CJ, I'm a little bit disappointed by do we call him a senior counsel, Ngatia? Him as a lawyer, I don't think it's right for you to go shouting that you have been rigged without providing any kind of evidence.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a basic principle, especially for him as a lawyer. So which actually demonstrates that the panel, by not picking him, they did the right thing. Because if you wanted to be a CJ and you're here concluding something happened when you don't have any evidence or you can't table anything to support your claims, then you essentially failed the first test of you being a CJ. But that's my opinion. So I don't think it's right for him to have said that. He might have been disappointed, which is okay.
And do you think it's a good precedence? What kind of a precedence are we setting? Because now we're already setting a precedence of suspicion, and now we're heading into an election that we are expecting probably the judiciary will play a major role in actually regulating how the elections will be done. Do you think we are setting the right precedence, not only for the country but also for judiciary, when we have someone who has been contesting coming out and saying I was rigged? And I think you also mentioned that some powerful people made calls to the commissioners. And what kind of precedence do you think we are setting?
Gerald, at sometimes we have to trust because here is my take. First of all, we appointed people in a committee to go through this process. So if we don't have confidence in those people doing their job, then the whole thing is
bogus.
I mean, there's no point of us having these interviews. Some of the interviews, I didn't like it. I wouldn't have liked the lady who was, I think we were among the last people who were interviewing when Alisema she will go and have a cup of tea with Madam Margaret Kenyatta.
That is our daughter from the Rift. Yano.
Aliangusha.
Alijoma.
Sasa huyu alikuwa anatafuta interview ya kuwa chief of protocol kwa State House ama kuwa administrative secretary. What do you mean you have to go and get the president from the first lady? That's insulting.
Alisema has to know how the mood of Mzee is.
Yeah. That, I mean, the answer should have been, I will tell the president to follow the rule of law and do your job. Like Lucida said, do your job. Easy mambo ya kubembelezo, do your job, period. So for you trying to, it's as if you're making the president, he is above the law. And that aspect of the constitution was done away with, whereby the president is no longer above the law. Everybody follows the laws and the constitution of the country. So that should have been come out clearly. And I think that's what has made the whole process become tainted, because people are treating it as a joke. Unaona Murgol pale anaulizwa swali, he decides to answer his own things.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. If you want, the only people I give leeway to do that are politicians. Because politicians are there to sell their own ideas and mirage and whatever they want. So whatever question you ask, if it doesn't fit into their story, they will tell you something else. But here you are doing with a process that is very serious, very grounded on specific process and rules and regulations and laws. When you start bringing in your own kind of ideology, or not even ideology, your own, decide to answer your own questions, then you make a mockery of the whole process. Now, would I have preferred for them maybe to select somebody? Yes, probably yes. But at the end of the day, like we talked when the whole interview started, and I think you remember Doro said, I think it's time to have a woman CJ. So, and that aspect, I'm like, okay, Mother Kome has the qualifications. She has a track record that we can look at and decide, or say, hey, I think we have an inkling where she may lean towards to, or what will be her major, where she will lean mostly in her judicial duties. And then the one thing that people forget, and we need to come out with this attitude or idea, that the Chief Justice is just there as the leader of the judicial system, and its work to make sure that the policies and the laws are implemented and make sure the justice system works for everybody. The Chief Justice is not a dictator who will sit there and decide, hey, so and so judge who is sitting in Mombasa, you decide today Orengo cannot represent somebody he's supposed to supervise when he's in the Senate. That cannot happen.
Okay.
So the judges have to make their own independent decision based on the laws, and that's the only thing she can do is make the system and the environment conducive.
Okay.
Now, on the other hand, also this issue of holding the judiciary ransom by Parliament when it comes to funding should stop. And the only way we can stop it is to encase the judiciary funding in a statute or in the constitution whereby nobody can interfere. Just the same way we have allocation of funds to the counties at a certain percentage, which is in the constitution. So nobody can interfere with that. That's what should have happened with the judiciary. So that the issue of interference can be reduced, especially when it comes to funding. Because, I mean, when the CJ was standing in public and Asema, he invited a fellow chief justice from another country. Na jamaa anaenda kubebo karibu aenda kumchukua na probox kutoka kwa airport kwa sababu amenyima gari.
Maboda.
Some of these things, man, like it's the interest of our country and to portray a better image of what our country, because our country is great. We have great people who can do their job the right way. Lakini kwa sababu mtu anaamua today I'm going to be petty. You call the police and ambia all the security for the deputy CJ go back to the station, which goes, takes you back to the Moi era. Remember those days, ministers, killer minister, wherever you are, ikifika in the lunchtime, you stop what you are doing, you go and listen and watch the news, because sababu you don't know when you're going to be fired.
Unasikia kuvutwa kazi kwako kwa habari. Kajua Larama avutwa kazi.
Ukisikia mtukufu rais alikuwa sijui wapi na kwa muktasari hajasema kitu, you will breathe a sigh of relief and go. Because I remember those days there's one of the ministers of I think it was a minister of agriculture, I think Omamo or Elijah Mwangala. He had stopped in Nakuru for lunch. While he's sitting there eating, gari akaona gari ndio hiyo inaenda na polisi ndio hao.
Anashangaa hiyo ni gari yangu inaenda.
Ndio alafu kumbe watu wanaangalia news wakamwambia hebu tangaza, akasikia jina yake, he has been fired as a minister.
Okay.
So that's not what we have now.
Right.
Yeah.
Sawa. Acha turudi upande mwingine. Guys, so the parliament yesterday was recalled very urgently to discuss yesterday and today they're going to have a sitting to discuss BBI, to discuss COVID-19 situation, to discuss travel restrictions between Kenya and other countries we are having first, maybe India. I saw yesterday they stopped the travel. But anyway, we have other serious issues. The country, the economy is sinking. People are suffering. Watanisikia Mkenya hapa anasema state of the nation. Vipi jambo, habari asubuhi?
Hello, good morning, Jared.
Good morning to you. How are you doing?
My name is Martin.
Yes, Martin. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. Personally, I have no problem with the appointment of Judge Koome. But now we have to look at the she's the judge, yeah, she's the chief justice, but also she's the president of the judiciary,
yes,
and she's the chairman of the JSC. When you look at the composition of the JSC, it's not balanced.
Okay.
When you look at the regions, 10 of the commissioners come from one region.
Which is?
Yeah.
Which
is the Mount Kenya region.
Five.
Yeah. So you have 5 of 10 coming from one region.
Okay.
And when you look at the constitution of 2010, we are talking about the face of Kenya. We want to be like, for every agency of the government should have a face of Kenya. But when you look at the JSC, do you see a face of Kenya or you see a face of Mount Kenya?
Facing Mount Kenya.
Yeah, so that is the biggest issue we have. I have no problem with the appointment of Martha Koome as the Chief Justice. I think that's a new presidency that we have set as a country for having a Chief Justice who is a female. But another problem comes to the table whereby she's not just the Chief Justice. she's a leader in very many aspects when you talk about the judiciary.
Okay.
You see? So basically, when you have five commissioners coming from one region, and these 5 commissioners are going to be in charge of the appointment of judges in the court, in the High Court, in the Appellate Court, in the Supreme Court. Definitely, you're not going to see a balance in terms of the entire country. You're not going to see a face of Kenya. That is one of the issues that was not addressed in the appointment of Judge Koome. They only looked at the female person, the female individual, you see. But they did not want to look at the entire face of Kenya and ask themselves, this commission is going to have 5 people coming from one region. How is that going to sit with Kenyans at large? That's all I have to say.
Okay. Na unasikiaje mbunge wako alienda bunge jana amezungumzia COVID mahali huko?
Hakuna story ya COVID inazungumziwa. Unajua, the thing is that these people are testing our patience, but the cup is almost overflowing because there's no way that we can be dealing with a pandemic, and then in a few weeks we're going to have kids going back to school. How are we going to how much in terms of vaccination have we been able to handle? You see, but when somebody talks about vaccination, the people in the assembly start heckling the person and telling him to tone down. You see, that is the biggest problem we have in Kenya. But the thing is that, eventually this thing is going to come to the people, and the people are going to decide. And I'm sure if they try to steal this referendum, they will know that this country belongs to all of us.
What do you think they'll decide? The people will decide?
See, the people are going to vote no.
Okay.
Do you think anybody in his right mind is going to vote for an additional 17? There's no way that there's no anybody in his right mind, because we have a very slope-sided thinking in our country, whereby representation, the money and resources have to be followed with leadership. Why don't we come up with a strategy whereby we can have money going back to those constituencies that have a lot of people without necessarily adding more representation? Because with more representation in Kenya means more corruption. That is the biggest tragedy we have in Kenya. We don't have a problem with representation, but we have a problem with corruption. And the agents of corruption are individuals who are these honorable members who call themselves honorable, but there's nothing honorable about themselves. You see?
Okay.
So it's going to be a hard mountain to climb for these people trying to sell the BBI document to Kenyans, considering how much everybody have lost their livelihood. So it's not going to be easy. Thank you, Gerald.
Okay, thank you so much, Martin. Have a good day. Really appreciate it. Asante sana. Bunge ya mwenye iko wazi. Nambari ni 07798010 07798010. You can call in and contribute. Uweze kutuambia pia mahali upo 07798010. Haya, nambari ndio ya hapo 7798010. Bunge la mwenye iko wazi. Unaweza piga simu tuambie mawazo yako yako vipi kuhusu state of the nation. Hali ulipo, hali ikoje? At least waliacha kulalisha watu barabara. So siku hizi tunaambia kila mtu good morning. Last week kwa naambia tu wenye wamelala barabarani good night. Wenye wamelala nyumbani tunaambia good morning. Haya, so it's good to see you. Unaweza piga simu 7798010. Okay. Gentlemen, lady and gentlemen. Arama, you want to say something? Nasikia umerudi hapo kidogo.
Yes. Yes. Just before you go to your panel, because I have to listen on my phone so that I can get the studio audio. But anyway, I just wanted to read something real quick for you guys.
Okay.
I came across this tweet from a gentleman called Gabriel Oguda. He said, you're waking up to the news that KEMSA flagged off toxic ARVs already banned from use in Kenya. The same banned substances Afia House promised had been destroyed in 2019. For those praying for this country, kindly ask God to come back himself, as his son might be betrayed again.
Wanaweza nini tena? Wanaweza sulubisha tena kijana.
Najua venye wanasemanga Jesus take the wheel. Hey, the wheel is not enough. He needs to take the whole bus. na baba mwenyewe ashuke asitumane.
Nasikia Arama alikuwa na complain kidogo hakuweza kupata simu za callers. Tafadhali make sure that he can get the audio on his side from the studio ndio aweze kutembea na sisi asikwame. Pole kidogo pia nimeona kuna mtu sijui ameweka action gani on our stream. Alikuwa amelimwa chini kidogo lakini imeamka. Pole ni sana. So keep going. Anyway, the MPs reconverged. Not out to YouTube kidogo pia. Robert K. Channel from California, good to see you. Joel Gibet, good morning. When the only thing that citizens can make out of president's appearance and speech is memes, I believe there is a message being sent. Gilbert Boyen says, good morning, Mr. Peter. Good morning to you, Gilbert Boyen. Good to see you. Thank you so much to the guys who are joining in from YouTube. Please keep sharing the link. Endelea kushare link watu pia wa Facebook. Na merudishwa link yenu sijui ni system inaangusha ama ni nini. Anyway, what are your thoughts on yesterday's proceedings in Parliament?
Kuna kitu umesema about memes kwanza. There was a time there were so many memes of our president on Twitter, and then the South Africans caught on it, so they continued going, and they were making memes using the photo of our president, but then they were in Zulu language. And then someone goes and says, hiya, you guys, you know that's a whole president. And then they were like, hey, Batong, Votoek, and all those things they say on Twitter. Is like, hey, we did not know he was a president. And I'm like, well, okay.
Andre Zeno ajulikane South Africa. Hapa South Africa hapa chini. Ours
is a special case. Sisi tunajua Cyril Ramaphosa lakini they don't know Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta bana. It is dangerous. Anyways, back to the state of the nation, Gerald. This goes to show you that hawa watu wote hakuna mse mwenye ako na our interests at heart. There was no single person who said, bana, you know, people are dying. We should be talking about oxygen tanks and COVID vaccines. The parliament in Ghana was called from recess, Gerald, to come and discuss the possibility of partnering with big pharmaceuticals to set up a production for vaccines in Accra.
Accra, Ghana.
In Accra, Ghana. Rwandans are on the same trajectory, my people. Just here, this Rwandese people, just this fine Rwandese people, just here, you know. Pengine Ghana tunaona ni mbali. People are talking about, you know, important things, scaling up technology, you know, scaling up economies. People are negotiating deals. Umeona zile memes za in 1972 while people were grabbing land. My grandfather ako pale disco na warembo. That is literally us. People are moving forward. Na sisi ni kama we are regressing. Like we really want to go back to Stone Age. We've tried this technology thing and it is not working for us. But we want to go back to Stone Age with our American accents and KFC chicken. What is our problem? Mimi hadi nashindwa kwani pali parliament kuna mahali wanabuzwanga hadi wana Mohamed Ali jichopevu. Oh my God. I really don't Moha, if you ever get to hear this, I really don't understand why you risked your life so much only to become the same evil that you were fighting. Mohamed Ali, kuna mtu amesikia sauti yake mahali. Mimi nilikuwa nafikiria wewe ndo atakuwa mtetezi wa Kenya. Oh my God, I was so wrong. And people go in parliament and they sit and they talk about a document that is neither here nor there and is not moving us forward, is not going to deal with the structural problems that we have. It's not going to deal with the systemic problems that we have. And at this point, I'm really convinced our entire political leadership and government is complacent to corruption. I wish iyo sitting ya jana na leo wangekuwa wameita kudiscuss like, you guys, how do we stop losing 2 billion daily? How do we curb corruption? How do we recover money that has been lost to graft? I wish that is what they were discussing. Because, Gerald, our healthcare system is failing because of what? Corruption. Our education system is failing because of what? Corruption. The agricultural sector is failing because of what? Corruption. It's the elephant in the room. It is so big. We are all seeing it, but no one wants to talk about it. And these people will sit there and then they will come on TV with izi makizungu mingi and all this siasa language that they have and lie to us like tunawaangalianga tu wakitudanganya. Na pia sisi ni mafala tumekaa. Wewe umetoka job, umetoka kuhustle, unakuja unafungiwa barabara, saa 2 ulale kwa barabara and all you can do is sit there and hoot. Gerald, I was telling someone, mimi by the Saturday ningepatikana mahali watu walikuwa wanafungiwa. I would have incited the public. Sasa mngekuwa mnanichangia bail money for incitement. For public incitement. I swear, ninge incite hao watu, tungenyorosha hao makarao na saa hii pengine ningekuwa jela. Probably ningekuwa Langata Women's and I would have no regrets for it. Nalipa taxes banata pia kwa Langata Women's ni rent. I would have zero regrets for it. Zero. Because honestly mali tumefika, it's inhuman. It's very inhuman for you. Acha nikwambie Gerald, right now we are being told we amvai mask, you are not social distancing, you're sijui nini. We are being given all the blame. Counties were supposed to have 300 ICU beds. How many counties have 300 ICU beds? Who's blaming the governors or the senators or the MPs or the CE, whatever it is, whosoever is in charge of public health? Who is blaming Mutahi Kagwe? Government was supposed to give us sanitizers and masks. Mi by this sikupata. So natuliambiwa kama sanitizer ya GOK haikukufikia, usidhani hata vaccine itakufikia.
Na kwa kweli itakufikia.
Exactly. Who is blaming government for not providing basic healthcare that is our constitutional right? No, let's blame Kenyans. The same Kenyans who are working hard to pay your inflated taxes so that unaeza ishi your soft life, unaishi ukifura and ballooning everywhere like umeswallow third wave, you know?
Why?
So that my senator can go for a sand drive in the United Arab Emirates while I don't have water in my house. Na nalipa tax na bado wako na audacity ya kunilalisha kwa barabara. Na ni mimi ndio na sponsor their lavish lifestyle. Yani wewe ukuesponyo, alafu huyo mdemu na sponsor ndo anakufanyia madharau na kufanya ulale ndani ya gari yako. Na wewe ndio sponyo. Bana. Like what is wrong with Kenyans? Ni nani alituroga? Hii ujinga ni nani alituroga nayo? Kwa sababu honestly Gerald, it is very stupid and very foolish of us. Na leo by the way, I'm on Kenyans. Because we aid, we abet, and we encourage the situation that we find ourselves in right now. Acha nikuambie, our leaders
actually said we are willing slaves.
Yeah, we are. Our leaders tell us what? You don't have to be in a position of power to make change. You can make change even without power, right? Yeah. I'm sure the president has said something to that effect. I'm sure Raila has said something to that effect. I'm sure the WSR has said something to that effect. But then these are people who've been in power for over 20 years. Yet they've changed nothing in this country. Nothing. It remains the same. We are still colonized. We just changed the colonial masters. We never gained independence. Because Gerald, the systems that we are using right now, nizilitoka wapi? Kwa mkoloni.
Yeah.
We have never changed the systems. Police training yetu ni system ya nani? Ya mkoloni. Our education system ni system ya nani? Ya mkoloni. So please tell me, when did we gain independence again? Have we ever been independent?
Now we get independence from the white supremacists. Anyway, my good friend Yatish, as well as we are to that, the thing is, the question is, I was also saying the same thing, the BBI conflict in parliament. ODM tayari pia imegawika into 3 parts. Kuna ya baba, kuna ya badi, kuna ya anaitwa nani mwingine, Omogeni, kuna ya kina Orengo. I mean, we are seeing more division than unity on a document that's supposed to unite all of us as 50 million Kenyans. If it cannot unite these gentlemen and ladies, they are mostly gentlemen anyway. If we cannot unite them, then what's the guarantee that we are going to get unity from this process?
I think Bitok expect more divisions, especially that will emanate from this BBI. At this point, Orengo, Okongo, and MP Virarieda, Omolo, I think they have found their route to Damascus, though it is very late. They are now.
I've seen the light.
They are now seeing the light, because from the word go, this whole thing was shrouded in misery and secrecy. If it was an open process, I'm very sure this thing will have gone through, and if Kenyans really decide to change the constitution, we will have done it long time ago. But that is not the urgency of Kenyans. Kenyans need a dying of hunger and poverty. So I like to appeal to my sister, at least go slow on Kenyans. We are at these situations. Kenya as a country is on a brink of collapse, simply because our parliament is castrated. Our parliament has no balls. It started from 2013 when Jubilee took over. And our members of parliament, instead of being representative of the people, they started working their tails to the executive. And that is the point, I think, where the rain started
Beating us.
And for now, during this debate in Parliament, if you watch the sessions, full sessions yesterday, when there were a motion on Division of Revenue Act in the National Assembly, most of the members of Parliament, they had the urgency just to pass it very urgently to discuss BBI. And when the debate on BBI started, some of the MPs raised serious constitutional questions and serious constitutional issues. But you see, they were being shouted down upon. A few of them who tried to chip in about the state of the nation, the livelihoods of our people during this corona, they were being shouted down. So meaning our members of parliament have really failed this as Kenyans. And you see, under our constitution, Article 1 stipulates that the sovereignty of the power belongs to the people. And under Article 2, the framers, there was a reason the framers of the constitution made those two articles to follow each other.
Yes.
Sovereignty first lies with the people, and then you donate to the elected representatives. So basically, us as Kenyans, we should rely on our members of parliament to speak for us, not to speak for Uhuru Kenyatta, not to speak for Raila Odinga, or even to speak for William Ruto.
Yes.
Because essentially, you see now, if you want to know, Gerald, that our parliament is no longer working, look at even the second wave of BBI. There were demolitions in Jiru, demolitions in Rai. People were actually being hounded out of the houses at night, during the rain, a humanitarian crisis. And not even a single member of parliament will speak for those people. Okay. Currently, during this third wave, demolitions happen in Jiru. Demolition is happening in somewhere in Embu. And our parliament, our members of parliament, so where have we failed as people? I think as a people, we should now, I agree with now AYIELA, we should take up the power we have under Article 1 of the Constitution. During the siege at Thika Road, when the lockdown, when they let people sleep on the road in Thika Road, I think Thika Road, most of those guys are middle class or something. The people in Kayole really removed the roadblock, and those are Kenyans. Those are the Kenyans, but that is the directions we need to know. We need to tell the Uhuru Kenyatta and the government at large that this country belongs to Kenyans, not to Uhuru Kenyatta or Matiang'i. Because we are seeing, they are telling us, Gerald, that this BBI will bring unity. This BBI will bring resources. But let's look at this in perspective, Gerald. Because I started by saying this country is headed in the wrong direction.
Even the dogs, someone said it has gone the dogs. The dogs have refused.
The dogs have
said, no, we want to deny. The country has not come to us.
They are specifically denying. They have referred us to the wolves.
No, we want to exonerate the dogs. They have declared that the country has not gone to them.
Yeah, so you see, Gerald, when Uhuru was controversially elected for a second time in 2017,
yes.
I'm saying this is controversial because the opposition never participated. It was a kind of a coronation exercise. So, but Raila Odinga later on accepted the defeat and gave Uhuru the legitimacy. And Uhuru Kenyatta went and promised big four agenda. That was to affordable housing, whereby he was supposed to build 500,000 housing units in a year. Gerald, as we speak, 3 years down the line, they are hardly at 5,000. Gerald, Uhuru Kenyatta was looking at a food secure country. You saw what happened in Kolana.
Galana has been grabbed. Galana Gulalu has been grabbed, by the way.
7 billion Kenya shillings just went up in air. No one is anchored. Universal healthcare, Gerald. Where is it? I think it was launched somewhere in Kisumu. How many years ago? 2 years. As we speak today, we have no oxygen in our hospitals. People are dying for lack of oxygen. And infrastructure, lack of wards and what have you, Gerald.
Okay.
Medical facilities. You go to our hospitals, you are being told, public hospitals, you are being told to go and buy money in chemists. Manufacturing, there's nothing in manufacturing, Gerald. And this is the same guy who promised you all these things, all those before agenda. Is telling you that BBI will now bring the resources to you. They are telling you now the BBI will increase resources to counties to 35%. And they are unable to remit 15%, Gerald. Just 15%. Gerald, they are telling you that the increase of 70 constituencies. Let me speak in detail about the 70 constituencies, Gerald. Our parliament, if this BBI, I call it nonsense, passes, Gerald, it will only to increase our legislature to something like, we are not sure of the number because there will be a nomination for...
I've said 630.
Probably 630. And our Auditor General recently said it will cost taxpayers around 3 billion annually to foot the cost of that parliament. General, let's go back. Back in 2013, Parliament has just been elected. And it was somehow saying, before they began working detail to the government and the executive, they contracted the Auditor General, then Ahuko, to do an audit on the Constitution. You know what Ahuko came up with? That as a country, Kenya, we are overrepresented. And then we had 416 members of Parliament, 67 in the Senate and 349 in Parliament. And it is very true, Gerald, we are overrepresented. Look at a country like India.
Yes.
India has a population of 1 billion people, and they have 500 representatives.
Yes.
United States, Gerald, which has over 320 million citizens, have only 100 senators. Kenya, with only barely 47 million, in the BBI, we are proposing to have 97 senators. What for? Because we are saying, Gerald, there is no direct correlation between increase in representatives and the lives of Kenyans.
Okay, the quality of leadership.
The quality of lives of Kenyans. What Kenyans need is to have a source of food, a source of livelihood. It doesn't matter who is their member of parliament. It doesn't matter who is their president. So we are saying this BBI, Gerald, is going to add Kenyans nowhere.
Okay.
Let's look at it in financial perspective. It will cost taxpayers increase in 3 billion annually. And when they go to central Kenya, for example, there are a number of constituencies increased. And in total, they are increasing 70 constituencies. In these 70 constituencies, Gerald, each constituency will get 100 million in terms of CDF allocation. 100 million. That is around 700 million annually. Caused by the increase of 70 constituencies. And the people who will be elected to serve in those 70 constituencies will be earning 3 billion annually. So who is a fool here, Gerald?
3 billion on salaries and 700 million what goes to Mwananchi. Anyway, who is fooling who? Who is the fool where?
So
anyway.
I'm urging the young people, especially because if you are not careful, we will not have a country to inherit.
Okay.
Because the country, like you have said, is headed to the...
The dogs have refused. Now maybe it's headed to the hooves. Wacha nisome comments alafu niende kwa harama kidogo alafu group tuangalie magazeti ndio inakuaje. Joseph Kia anasema Joseph Kia watching from KNH. Kudos be talk for your shows. Barikiwa, asante sana. Thank you. Maras Menjawa, good morning. Douglas to LUCIA. It's not a human right by the constitution. We give the public servants those jobs and they should serve for the public good. We need something in the constitution where we score against the manifesto with time card so that the government that falls before average waende nyumbani without wasting taxpayers money. Asante sana rasmi yawa. Richard Michael Obere, if this process was public and open, why not publish the results in public? Swala nyeti. In fact, the individual score for any public interview should be immediately after the interview. Waekelewe kuzikuwa na wakati ya kwenda kufanya negotiation. Richard Michael Obere, Lucia, welcome back. We missed you on the show. Asante sana Richard. Mwangi Jidan, I like Lucia Yela articulates a point. It reflects sober Kenyan youth mindset. We want a country that delivers to its citizens and the president should be held responsible. Welcome back Lucia Ayela. Imake Munto Arama ninajua. Haya. Karibu sana. Governor P. Mushendu, very much tuned. Salimia Lucia sana. Asante sana Governor P. Mushendu. Randon jana show yao ilikunywa maji. Poleni sana watu wa Wednesday. Siasa Wednesday. Show ya Governor Mushendu jana he drank water. Ilikunywa waba. Anyway, until next week. Randon Okanda, youth leaders. Haya. Sasa watajitetea kwa upande wao. Mimi ni mzee, youth leaders wako hapa ndio watajitetea. Alex Jonde, there's no difference between BBI story and Romeo and Juliet story. They are similar. They are both love stories, though we have to vote for the BBI. Haroki Wamasi, Lucia, between the charges and the markets, which one is risking Kenyans' lives most? Swali. Sami Meli anasema Lucia AYIELA should be either elected or nominated as youth MP. This lady is something else. Ama atashiba ajisahau like the rest. Tunamwombea sana asisahau majengo. Gilman Bonga anasema my sweetheart is back. Sheena Edwards, this one power over lady we've got is really smart. Women power. Viva. William wangesema kulalishwa kwa barabara Thika Road wasn't genuine talk. It was a move to block Tanga leaders who were in a meeting in Nyeri. So the move was to punish them. Unfortunately, ilipata wa Kenya and people really suffered for nothing. It had nothing to do with curfew and COVID-19. Kimutai Ato anasema tax-paying Kenyans never all their leaders accountable. Independence is a scam. Kenyatta was a black beberu. Asked why Avi lives like a British yet is not white. Okay. So Lanyeti, Julius Rotumata, welcome back. Lucia, well spoken. Abbas Juguna, we have and are talking too much about the problems facing us. By now we should be discussing what steps to take next to cure these. Majama amesema ni kuamuka na ukipatana kafi unabeba nayo. Sasa sijui kama tutaiweza. Doug Yagona na Jack Yagona, do these leaders watch the same news you watch about how India is currently overrun? This could easily happen to us, or are they waiting to do the same initial knee-jerk reaction when disasters happen? Si ndio tulileta ndege wa China jana 787 have landed from India. So I mean, we are a beautiful country. Tuende tusonga tu. Mungu pekee Yesu mwenyewe ashuka hata situmane malaika. Samuel anasema the county has not gone to the dogs, it is with the wolves and jackals. Yeah, the dogs have refused. The dogs have said the country has not come to us. In the years case, Wesley Wise, some of those guys today are speaking the truth, and that we're all speaking from today. Tackle is right place today. Thank you so much. Koech C. Evans anasema leo ameongea ukweli, tuned in kabisa. Daisy Maritim MCA Utawala anasema good morning, we are watching we are waiting for BBI to iangusha. Haya, bunge la mwenye nchiko wazi. Nambari 779-800-010 au 779-800-010. Piga simu tuambie mahali ulipo ali koje. Wacha tusikie Rama anasemaje pale. Rama, jambo.
Sawa Gerald. First of all, Bwana Monda amejoin leo, so I'm very
Monda is here. It's good to see you.
Monda is here. So Gerald, I want to tell people one thing. Right now, the governor of California, there's going to be a recall election this November. Because people disagreed with his policy just on COVID.
Yes.
And they have already collected enough signatures to have a recall election in November. Sasa sisi tuko na hiyo provision in our country, in our constitution for recalls, but we are not using it. And I have told Kenyans, and I will repeat again, today we agree to send watu ya Western tupatie senator mmoja, watu ya Central give us 5 MPs, watu ya Coast tupatie 5 MCAs. Let's recall these people. Everybody agree, find signatures, recall some of these people back. Gerard, I am telling you, those people who sleep in parliament, they will sleep in the county assemblies, passing laws that will benefit Kenyans. But as long as they know, mtu akiingiliwa, kila mtu anakimbia anasema mtu yetu, they are not going anywhere and they are not going to do anything for us. That is our biggest problem. We need to use our resources and our tools that we have. When people are being blocked to go home, ati polisi anangoja saa 2 ikifika pap kila mtu simama, and you spend the entire night on the road. How much money was wasted in the economy for people sleeping on the road the whole night? Those people should have roadblocks zingetolewa, because then maybe let's give them an excuse to say the first night they were not organized. I should have seen the interior minister coming up the next day and saying, hey, we are going to extend the time for people to get home. You know, yes. If you are leaving work, let your employer give you a note kwamba unatokea kazi late so that you can get home. You saw the tragedy of someone who was pleading to get his mother, or is it a wife, to the hospital. One was about to give birth, the other one, mama alikuwa mgonjwa. They were pleading with the police.
Yes.
And the police still was ignoring them. Sema, mumechelewa. Jamani, are you having people on the road who have no brain to think and decide what some of these things bad, or is it just a money-making machine? So that's my comment for now. I just want to give my friend Monda to speak for a few minutes.
Arama,
Kabla hujaenda kuna mtu ameuliza hapo, is the clause for recalling non-performing leaders in our constitution? Kindly cite the article. Mtu wa katiba Lucia Yelan kama akona katiba ilienda.
leo sijatembea na katiba yangu. Mtu aliiba katiba yangu by the way. Lakini nitaendea ingine pale uraia. Arama, you are actually right to ask whether we have people on the road without brains. Please remember, our police forces qualification inakuanga meno 32, miguu flat na D-. So literally brains don't count in that profession. They likely don't have them.
Okay, ndio niweke kwa Monda. Tuwia wana Joel Kibera nasema the only thing that citizen can make out of president's appearance and speeches. Mimi Saurake, I read that. Good morning, Mr. Bitok. That's Gilbert Bowen. Good morning to you. Another one, are you bringing Dr. Duncan is speak the truth? Duncan anakuja every Friday on Sheria Wiki. Naona pia Kika Mzamunda anasema Lucia Kenneth Mayo anasema the plain truth. Ngetini ma schoolmate at Kimathi University. Asante sana. Kenneth Mayo anasema amesha. Asante sana. Monda.
Habari gani ndugu?
Nashukuru sana bana. Nashukuru kukuona tena. Mpotea sana baba. Naona umejimute tena Monda.
Okay.
Haya.
Unasikia?
Nakusikia sasa hivi.
Hello?
Nakusikia.
Mimi huwa nafuata, sijawasahau, huwa nafuata FB. Huwa nafuata FB. Sina neno. Mnafanya kazi nzuri sana.
Asante sana kaka.
Ningependa kuchangia kwa lugha ya Kiswahili hapa.
Tafadhali.
La kwanza, mlikuwa na mswada mzuri kuhusu dada yetu Kome. Kwangu ningependa kusema ya kwamba nimeshukuru sana ya kwamba ameteuliwa, lakini vile Lucia alikuwa ameangazia ni kwamba hii shida ya ukabila sana sana, watu wakisoma sana wanasoma, wanakuja Marekani, wanaenda Harvard, NYU, Berkeley, wakirudi Kenya akili zao sijui zinakuaje, wakati wa kufanya kuchapa kazi wanakuwa tena ni wakabila. Kwa hivyo sijui atakuwa ni mchapakazi ama atajiingiza kwa zile sokomoko za kikabila.
Je, ni swali kwa Lucia? Ama ni kwa?
Hiyo ni swali kwa Lucia, na nina swali nyingine pia kwake. Lucia, ya kwamba dada mlikuwa mmetia mori, changamuka sana na linda katiba na KLM, lakini ni kama siku hizi mmetulia tuli. Umedokeza kwamba wananchi wanatendewa unyama, lakini jamani, ni jukumu la asisi za kiraia kama KLM, kama linda katiba, kuangazia na kuweza kuweka watu pamoja, vijana wa kutoka vyuo vikuu wasambae mitaani na kuweza kushinikiza umma. Kulalamika haitasaidia yoyote. Ningependa pia Lucia muangazia na wana diaspora. Kuna Kenya Diaspora Alliance, kuna wana diaspora wengi wangependa pia kuchangia ili tubadilishe nchi. Itakuwaje? Ni nafsi gani tutaweza kupata njia mbadala Lucia? Manake siku hizi naona mmenyamaza sana, na ni kama Kivutha naye amejiingiza mambo ya BBI, amekuwa ni mwanasiasa.
Ameingia akatoka, sijui kama amerudi tena.
Ako ndani.
Amerudi BBI tena. Haya, asante sana Monda, sijui kama bado uko na mchango mwingine. Haya. Maana ni maswali makuu kwako Lucia. You need to answer before hata nienda kwa gazeti. Sasa ni kama wewe bwana mlikuja bwana mkatupiga mori funga linda katibu kongamano geuza alafu basi mkajigeuza mkalala.
Aya, ya kwanza ilikuwa on the nominated CJ. Huyu ndugu ameongea Kiswahili sanifu paka nasikia kujaribu.
Kwa Marekani hatari sana.
Isipokuwa Kiswahili si mdomo changu.
It's not of your mouth.
It's not of my mouth. Kilikuja na meli na kule bara hatuna meli. Anyways, I at the risk of being called misogynistic, and at the risk of all feminists coming for me, I think the nomination of the CJ was a pacification. You know, because women have been making noise about gender parity, equality, equity, this, that, constitution, ABCD. And I think we are being pacified. I don't know what they were looking for in the vetting process, so I cannot tell you. But they said she emerged top. I honestly think there are other people who performed better than her. Not to say that her performance was below par. I liked the confidence. I watched actually her part of her session. I liked the confidence. She knew what she was talking about. She can articulate herself very well. But I think other people performed better than her without mentioning any names. So this is a case where we've prioritized the gender pacification over everything else. And, you know, it's a delicate balance, because then when you say this as a woman, they come for you. You're fighting fellow women. When you say this as a man, you're being chauvinistic and misogynistic, you know, and all these things. There's always something that they can battle you with because it's a woman. And I really, really wish we did not have to go there, you know, whether it's a woman or not. I wish we'd just say, like, she's qualified, and that's the end of the discussion. But it's hard to say that. So I'm also hoping with you, bro, that here atashika laini iliyo sahihi. On Linda Katiba and kongamano.
Sasa wamesema kwanza wewe ukifika huko utageuka ama
no, Gerald, I don't think. So kama plan ingekuwa ni kuomoka for the purposes of kuomoka, I will be campaigning for someone right now already. But if I get into power, I want to get into power because I want change. I want real change. Like, manze mi nimechoka. Mi nimechoka kufanya hop step and jump huku mtaani kwa sababu ya sewage. Nimechoka kukosa tap water. Nimechoka Kenya Power kunianulia stima kila siku because of small rain. Yani mvua inanyesha hivi kidogo, hii Kenya Power wameanua stima isinyeshewe kama nguo. You know, it's mi nimechoka. So manze mi I want to get into power because that is where you can effect policy change. And it really begins with policy, you know. Kama Kenya Power ingekuwa na monopoly manze, kama kungekuwa na policy ina allow other power companies to come in, hawa say wange step up their game bana. Na just enye unaona kitu fiti na kila mtu anaona hiyo kitu fiti, inabidingi ume step up, because ukiendelea kulalisha kuna msemo mwingine anakuja anapita nayo. So the policies that are manning this country are very backward, they're very stringent, they're not progressive. You know, they actually make you feel like the government wants you to fail, you know. So mimi sidhani naenda kukua moja wao wase wa kunona. Nita maintain tu akakawe TV, napenda kukaa hivi ka laptop. So nita maintain ako kawe TV, but the one thing that I can assure people is that if I ever get into public office, then the work I do will speak for me. And if I get conditions over there that will hinder me from doing the work I want to do and the work that people have sent me to do, then I'll go back to people and tell them, bana mimi nimepeleka mswada pala parliament mara 5, lakini kuna venye speaker manze amekanyagia hiyo story, hebu pigeni kelele. You know, and people have power. Kenyans just don't realize how much power they have bana. Tulizimisha live stream ya IMF after 23 minutes. It usually goes on for like 35 minutes, I think. But at 23 minutes, walichoka kuona stop loaning Kenya, and they were like, oh, done. Signatures sijui zilifika wapi. But
I think it's a beginning in the struggle. It's a good beginning.
It's a good beginning.
A lot of people criticize on you guys will happen, but it's a good beginning. It's a phase of an awakening. So,
Kongamano and Linda Katiba, you know, I'm not going to speak for Linda Katiba, but I can speak for Kongamano. And we had focused our energies so much on having an anti-BBI campaign. We wanted to educate the masses on what was wrong with the BBI report, the whole thing, why we do not need a referendum, and how this was going to mutilate our constitution. And then the brakes on reggae were pumped. So ikatuacha in a situation where, the referendum is either going to happen, it's not going to happen, the BBI is dead, it's not dead. So hatukukuwa really sure where the BBI was standing. And Kongamano la Mageuzi is not funded by anyone. We changa amongst ourselves, and Kenyans of goodwill huwa wanatuchangia pesa when we have things to do. So we did not see the need of continuing to use resources that are very scarce to begin with on something that we don't have a surety on. So we are re-strategizing. We are not dead. We are just we are at a place where we are re-strategizing. We are also looking at what is going on the country, and we are trying to find the best place to focus our energies on. That might be the same challenge that Linda Katiba has, but I cannot say for sure. You'll have to speak to a representative from Linda Katiba about that.
But for Kongamano, some members have been accused of crossing over to BBI.
So on Kivutha Kibwana, I can speak for Kivutha Kibwana. I had a conversation with him after that happened. So Kivutha Kibwana is the governor of Makueni County. So the people of Makueni County have elected Kivutha Kibwana to represent the interests of Makueni County. Personally, Kivutha Kibwana does not support the BBI. Personally, as Kivutha Kibwana.
But he went there in his capacity.
But then the people of Makueni said they wanted the BBI. So as the governor of Makueni, who's supposed to be representing the interests of the people of Makueni, he then says, my people,
my people
want the BBI. I do not want the BBI, but then it's not about Kivutha Kibwana. It is about the people of Makueni. Yeah, he said this on a radio interview. He said this on a radio interview, I think, a fine morning, like 3 days after that happened. So I cannot speak for Kivutha Kibwana further than that. So we'll have to bring Kivutha Kibwana to the tackle and speak to him about it. I'll speak to him and ask him to come to the tackle so that he can clarify about these shenanigans. Yes. On diaspora, Kongamano la Mageuzi is a friend of diaspora. We have a representative from Kenya Diaspora Alliance, I think. I'm not sure. I'm told there's several. I'm not sure. There's one that is headed by Dr. Saisi Marasa. And then there's another faction that is headed by, I think, Chris Wamalwa. So those are the two Kenyans in diaspora groups that we have had conversations with. But if there's another diaspora group that would like to have a conversation with Kongamano la Mageuzi, please just reach out to me. I will organize a meeting with members of Kongamano la Mageuzi and whichever diaspora group. We are happy to listen to you guys. We love you guys. We love Kenyans in diaspora, and we understand the challenges that Kenyans in diaspora have, and we are really rooting for Kenyans in diaspora to be more included in all sectors of public governance. So just reach out to me and let me know if there's another group that is not represented by either Chris Wamalwa or Dr. Saisi Marasa, and we will gladly bring you on board.
Okay. All right.
Bitok, let me also respond to some of the issues that have been raised. Especially, there's someone who have asked.
Microphone, bro. You need to sit upright. Microphone.
Yeah, there's someone who have asked about the right to recall for members of parliament. But before I answer that, I'd like to pick up from where LUCIA left in terms of the voices against BBI. Like you have in your introduction, we also a member of the Youth Against BBI, our organization, Youth Against BBI, and we do work closely with Linda Katiba, and basically our coming together as young people to oppose the elitist and selfish amendment to Constitution was to defend our Constitution. So when the wreckage just stopped, we also pause a little bit, but behind the
your
scenes,
reggae also stopped.
you know,
You're the
no,
ones who are playing the instrument. You're the ones who are playing the instrument. Now when they stop singing, you stop the instrument. Okay.
tutazima. Sasa tunangoja venye amerudi. We are watching closely.
Concert,
yeah, we are watching closely what is happening. But basically, you have heard Kenyans at large are opposed to this document. Kenyans need what improves their livelihoods at the moment.
Okay.
So in the constitution, the right to recall is in Article 104 of the Kenyan Constitution. Just the chapter on legislature, I think chapter 9 or somewhere there. But now Parliament was to make legislation to make effect to the said article of the Constitution. But from what I remember well, I think Parliament watered it down to make it very hard to recall a member of Parliament.
Okay.
So the only option Kenyans have is on the ballot.
Waiting for 5 years.
5 years.
So once you elect, mkubali masaibu kwa miaka mitano.
And then kama umekula chwani nini 50 yake, ngoja mpaka.
Maana kula tu shilingi. Ama nisumuni hika.
But I think these people are testing Kenyans. And very soon Kenyans will swarm the streets.
Okay.
Very soon.
Right. Joel Gibet says a priest once told us that a good police officer is one who does not reason, because if they did, most of them would have already quit. That is on YouTube from Joel Gibet. And it says, this was back in 2017. It keeps ringing in my head whenever I witness police brutality. Mwandatezi, and somebody is Linda Katiba doing so far. Jordi say from Linda Katiba is coming in next week. So Lucia's packet for kongamano na mageuzi. Ameniambia ataniletea kivuta kibwana. I really want that guy on the tackle. We want to tackle him. Atuambie flip flop. Kuja amerudi tena. Msikia amegeuka tena. Amesema hataki BBI. So anyway, you want to see him. You want to see him next week. Kivuta kibwana mlete kivuta kibwana. Please talk to him.
Actually, let me just text him.
Please just text him akuja on the tackle. Alafu Charity say from Linda Katiba is coming in next week. Atatuambia ni lipi ambalo linaendelea pale kwenye Linda Katiba, kwa sababu niliona pia alikuwa anakunywa juice. Ile juice ya watu wakubwa na baba. Anakunywa red wine na baba. Hajapeleka mbuzi. So tutatuambia kwamba ni nini inaendelea kwenye Linda Katiba na mrengo wa kisiasa. Kenya hii maze. Haya, naona sasa niangalie comments kidogo ya Facebook pia. Nimetoka YouTube aje niangalie Facebook. Okay. Naona Shina anasema what about the police slapped AYIELA. Shina says that is where we go wrong, Monda. When an injustice is being done, it's not up to any organization to stop it, but rather upon all of us. Meshak Odedo Wino anasema, why are you guys blaming police and you all know they are taking orders? Why is nobody going to the people who gave such orders? Are you afraid of the guys who give them orders? And what happens to the signatures against IMF and the revolution? I mean, I think this is the middle class.
Baba is one of the people who gives those orders. Kindly speak to him. You have access.
Let's see. Are you guys saying that having been sent to the road, they were also ordered not to even let even sick people into ambulance? It's more to common sense than orders. Stanman says even in the following orders, common sense is still applicable. How can you not allow a sick person to proceed in the name of following orders? Sheena Edwards, AYIELA, how does one become part of this organization? I think we need more people in the board to impact how our people think politically, for that matter, among other issues. Watu wa kongamano. Anasema muongeleshe Lucia AYIELA, mtupie pale inbox. Watakupanga na rada ya gongamano. Jack anasema Lucia, that explanation about why Kivuta went back to BBI cheerleading is not convincing. As a parent, if your kid starts smoking weed, would you just allow it to say, since they want it, I agree with them? No. This guy has been dilly-dallying, not hot, not gold. Haya, yeye mwenyewe atakuja niwaambia on the orders, kwa sababu tuko kwa mambo ya orders. I hereby order Kivuta Kibwana to appear on the tackle and tell us why he's been flip-flopping between saying no and saying yes on BBI. Anyway, sana Kivuta Kibwana kuja tuambie ni lipi linaendelea pale. Monda, sijui kama umeridhika na majibu ya dada yetu Lucia kwa mambo ambayo ulikuwa umeanza kueleza.
Yeah, I mean nimemwelewa. Unanipata bwana Bito?
Na kupata kaka.
Okay, sawa. Kwa jibu lake kwa Kivuta sijaridhika kabisa, manake itabidi umlete pale na tafadhali mweke kuvasie kidogo, pengine Glenfiddich, hiyo juice ya watu wakubwa
nianza kufunguka
binjari pale aanze kuongea, asifikirie sana yote yaliyopo moyoni,
amwage kuku kwa mtama si hata mtama kwa kuku kwa mtama
unaongezea barafu na ndimu pale aweze kuweka retort na short. Manake kwa siasa, ndugu yangu, tunasema ya kwamba kuna ile dhana, ile filosofia ya kwamba ukichaguliwa lazima usikilize wale
ambao wamekuweka kwenye kiti,
yani wale wanaita delegate, ya kwamba lazima upige kura vile watu wamekwambia. Lakini pia kuna nafsi nyingine ambapo vile mwingine aliangazia, alisema ya kwamba ukiona kwa moyo wako na akili yake ya kwamba watu wanataka uende pabaya, lazima uangazie mwendo mbadala. Ya kwamba utumia akili yako na uambie watu wa Makueni, tafadhalini, hii ni njia mbaya. Mimi kama
kiongozi wenu,
mwakilishi wenu, kama kiongozi wenu, najua mnataka kwenda hivi, lakini mimi nyayo zangu tutaenda vingine, na mtaona kule mbeleni njia mbadala hii ni nzuri. Kwa hivyo ningependa sana umweke pale kwa tako kuuliza haya maswali magumu.
Atakuja
kuhusiana na mambo za hizi asasi za kiraia. Lucia, najua kuna shida nyingi kwa hizi asasi za kiraia. Sana sana huwa mnabishana kifedha, kuna ule ushindani, ule ubabi, wengine wamekula pesa huku na huku, pengine Lucia hapendi jamaa fulani kutoka
kama amekubaliana nayo. Nimeona vile amecheka kidogo.
Watu wanavutana hivi, pengine upendi Boniface, pengine Boniface hakupendi. Sisemi ni hivyo, lakini kuna huu mvutano wakati mwingine upo. Mimi ningependa msawarishe maneno haya, manake wale ambao tulikuwa Kenya miaka ya 90, ambao tuliona ile second liberation, kina Njoya vile walikuwa kichapwa bakora Nyayo House, wengine wanateswa, wengine wako Uhuru Park wanafurushwa. Ile dhana, ile roho ya utumishi, naona ni kama umepotea. Wale wabunge wengi ambao weke kwenye bunge wakati huu, kina Orengo, kina gavana huyu wa Meru,
Kiraitu Murungi,
Kiraitu, wajumbe wengi tu pale walikuwa kwenye mstari wa mbele wakimkashifu Moi. Sasa wameingia uongozini, wamepata ile cheki nzito, wamesahau wananchi. Kwa hivyo mimi ningeangazia asasi za kiraia zinachangia kwa njia muhimu sana kuhamasisha umma. Hapa Marekani kwa mfano, nikiangazia kumalizia, hili vuguvugu la Black Lives Matter lilianza kama miaka 10 iliyopita. Lakini pole likaanza kufundisha jamii, likaanza kubadilisha maono ya wazungu, kusema kweli hapa watu weusi wamegandamizwa. Na mweusi akikandamizwa, sio kusema ni mweusi, ni kila mtu anakandamizwa. Mweusi akiwawa, pia mimi kama mweupe nafsi yangu inawekwa chini. Kwa hivyo kule Kenya tufikirie, hata kama Mjaluo anapigwa risasi barabarani kama anaandamana, Mkikuyu, Mkamba, Mluya anaumia pia. Tulete jamii pamoja, tuhamasishe jamii. Hiyo ndio ingekuwa maombi yangu kwa Lucia na wende wa vuguvugu hizi za asisi za kiraia.
Haya, asante sana Bwana Monda kwa kujumuika na sisi. Naona Lucia ana majibu kwako kidogo kabla hujaondoka.
Gerald ulisema nimekubaliana na yeye. So in order kukua activists, okay, let me say this, all activists are people with strong personalities. We are activists because we have very strong personalities. Now kuna ile msemo inasema ngani jogo wawili
jogola
sisi moja
bas. So you know, so when you bring 20 strong personalities together,
there's going to be a conflict.
There's going to be a conflict. And
chuma zitashagana.
Okay, si chuma
is in metal.
Okay. There's going to be a conflict because, you know, like I am Lucia. This I demand accountability, and I want this accountability in manner ABCD. And then there is Mutemi over there, and then there is my other colleague Njoki, and we are all strong personalities. So we disagree. But we don't disagree on levels of personal disagreement ati mi spendi Gerald. So sioni kama tunaweza ongea na Gerald ama sijui nini. We disagree on what do I say, issues of principalities. We want the same thing, we just don't think there's one route to get to that thing. You know, there's different routes, na ndio tukubali kuenda route A tuachane na route B ama D. It takes some convincing. So it's norming and storming and forming and performing. It's normal. I think even in organizations, it's normal everywhere. Hata kwa familia. I'll tell you this. I come from a family that has very strong personalities, and just trust me, we clash a lot. But it's clashing from a place of love. I understand all the other people at Kongamano are my comrades. They want the best for Kenya the same way that I want the best for Kenya. And you know, they are not there to fight me because I'm not the enemy, and they also trust that I'm not there to fight them. We have a common enemy, that is the system and the people who run it. So that is where our focus is. So even if tutakuwa na hiyo mvutano, it's nothing that's out of control. Yenye I'll come and say like, hey Gerald, me I'm alarmed bana. You know, jana people walishikana mashati pale and it went like, no, it's not like that. And even when it, because people will ask, why is Linda Katiba and Kongamano not working together? It's not that we are not working together. Kongamano is looking into political power. Linda Katiba has an objective. Their main objective is to defend the Constitution of Kenya. So what they are doing is part of what we are doing. It's just that we are stretching it far, in that we want to contest for political power, and they are not contesting for political power. But we agree with Linda Katiba. Both Kongamano and Linda Katiba agree that we are defending our constitution. So once we get to that point where we now know what's going on with that reggae thingy, it's then going to be easy for us to sit down and say like, okay, wait, this is what needs to be done, so let's get it done. Okay. So after we linda our katiba, and I think lindering the katiba is a continuous process. It's not something that siku moja linda katiba wataamka and they say like, oh, sasa tumelinda katiba, tumemaliza kulinda katiba. No, it's always going to be there, because there'll always be someone who will want to do something that's not going to sit well with the rest of us. So it's a continuous process. It's just that tunaachana mahali where we venture into politics and there are more of the civic.
Yeah, more of katiba. Okay. Yeah. My good friend, Chairman Joel Arama, tukiondoka.
Well, Gerald, now where do I even begin? Kenyans, I mean, we have a lot of challenges, but at the same time, we still have very smart people, very willing people to work on issues that we want. The only thing that we need to refine is our methods of accountability. Can we stand up and call, let me use on a member of parliament or a senator or an MC or a governor or the president, despite where he comes from? So, you know, can you people in Central call out your Uhuru Kenyatta as a president and say, Mr. President, this is not right? Can you stand up and call him out? Can my friends from where I come from in Nyamira call out a governor and say, hey, Governor or Mr. Senator, this is not right?
You're out of order.
Yeah, can you people in Rift Valley call out the Deputy President and say, Mr. Deputy President, the government is not running what you say is not happening. This is not right. Can we hold people accountable when people are accused of stealing public funds? Why are we again going to demonstrate on the street and saying mtu wetu anaonewa, release our person? Today is a perfect example, or in other words, yesterday was a perfect example. A member of parliament who is a senator was arrested for whatever he was accused of doing. The entire Senate was stopped twice until the guy was released. So the question to you Kenyans is, ulisikia wapi wewe ukishikwa
dunia inasimama?
Dunia inasimama. That should tell you something. Until we start holding these people accountable, whoever we put in office, it will be the same story over again in 5 years. 2022, we'll put people in, we'll celebrate in 2 days or a week once they are sworn in, back to the normal grind.
Yeah.
Same complaining. We need to hold these people accountable. We have so many resources. We have people who have knowledge. Kuna watu wako na ideas on how to do things. I keep on reminding people about the guys who are designing beds in Kiambu. Was it in Kiambu?
Yes.
Same bed you buy for $10,000. Somebody was making it for less than $1,000 in Kenya. And we could not even, the president went there, praised them, follow up, and that was the end of it. The guys got some loan money who make more beds. Now you're here complaining you don't have ICU beds in all these places, but you had someone who could build those beds. Nobody took action.
Very sad.
There are so many issues. You hear people complaining, oh, there's no oxygen. There were young people who were designing ventilators using simple equipment in Kenya. We could not even actualize those dreams. Now you hear, Lucille said very well, people in Ghana, Parliament is being recalled to come and discuss how they can build a factory to mass produce vaccines in Ghana. Rwanda is doing the same thing. Sisi hapa Kenya kazi yetu ni kupiga kelele na kuitana kwenda kupeana mbuzi na wengine chai hapa. Somebody is arrested for stealing money. The people who are supposed to oversight why counties are misappropriating funds, then the same people go to court to represent somebody who they are supposed to be oversighting. That is a clear conflict of interest. Hakuna vile utaniambia ati, oh, I'm doing my part as a lawyer, but you are privileged to some information from Parliament that should preclude you from representing this person in court. And I allowed the ruling of the judge in Mombasa about Orengo representing the chairman of KPA, even though that was an outside organization, but still, there is still some connection because the Parliament is supposed to oversee these public entities. So he should not have stand there as his legal representative. His office can represent him, but not Orengo personally. That should not happen. So to me is, let's keep holding these people accountable, and probably I still hope one day we'll have a better country, especially in leadership and governance.
Thank you so much, my brother. I really appreciate it. Asante sana. Thank you so much with the guys from diaspora. Monda also for coming in this morning. We really appreciate you. Whatever usingizi ukuja. Thanks also for the sacrifice arama that you make every week. Though that miss Masi alienda wapi leo, alipotea na alikuwa ameanza mapema kusema wapi link. Anaanza wapi link alafu anapotea. Kina Alex pia waamushwe, kina RK, kina Kobe. Please let's revive this guys so we can continue having these conversations. Asante sana for tuning in. Wacha niangalie tu gazeti mbio sana. Ndio nirudi hapa kwa watu wakifunga. MP's question, the standard MP's question, withdrawals in trouble bank. Spire Bank bana, Sponyo alingoa 1.7 billion ikazama. Merali haki ya nani Kenya ini sinema tupu. Alafu kauzia walimu Shell. Somali president about turn uko Somalia, Varmajo amegeuka amesema kwamba mcancel ile 2-year term ambayo alikuwa ameitisha extra. So it's a good lesson for African leaders who are planning to extend power or not to. The 5 wonders of Fortenan, jamaa toka Kericho sijui nini huko. BBI drama on day 1 of debate wrangles. There was fireworks in both houses when members reconvened to consider the BBI bill, with Ruto allies pushing to scuttle the debate and senators demanding the whereabouts of medical injury. That's on page 6. Unmasked, how face mask end up in our food chain? Okay. Friend Ngatia was rigged out of CJ position, says Ngatia. Zema senior counsel who represented Ruru in poll petitions protest a reduction in his interview scores. Ameonea wapi scores? Ameonea wapi tusaidia to share pia Ngatia. Kenya ready for WRC Savage Rally in June. A World Motorsport Body FIA as the organization of WRC Equator Rally, which acts as a dress rehearsal for the return of the WRC Rally, Safari Rally, as compliant with such standards. The global event will take the same route from June 24th to 27th. That's interesting. It's good to see the kind of faith that sportsmen are having in for Kenya. Inside story on real estate Airbnb, the future of travel. Swala nyeti pale. Taniona kama kuna kitu nyingine kwa page nyingine ambayo inafuata standard. Standard zungukanga in a lot muziko kwa mdaya. Twende kwa Daily Nation. Mashari on the spot over teachers pay, talks MPs quiz TSC boss over lack of quorum at commission. That's watch out, COVID-19 is still here. And then ideas Philip Ochieng, the What's-Meet. We all grew up. If you're reading newspapers when you grow, we all grew up to the writings and articles of Philip Ochieng. Pole sana the family of Philip Ochieng and the legendary journalist. I want to say that pumzika pole na safiri salama, tutaonana baadaye. I grew up reading your articles and I appreciate that you lived your life well. Like in a Whispers, may you go and say hi to Kina Wahome, the Whispers guy. CJ Destiny at JSC on Monday nominated barely hours after court lifted orders suspending hearing. Rush to install Koome. Arid or not, a day after receiving a nomination by the Judicial Service Commission, President Kenyatta has asked the National Assembly to vet Martha Koome for the position of Chief Justice. The Speaker wants MPs to speed up the process, even though the law allows for 28 days. Wow, why the rush? Anyway, in numbers, 4.25 nomination on Tuesday, nomination time on Tuesday afternoon when JSC First Chair Olive Mugenda made the announcement. Timelines 20 number of days 28 within which vetting, approval or rejection should be done. Why we need it overnight? Swala nyingine siku nyingine. MPs in the debate on BBI are stifling dissent. Proponents of a referendum yesterday blocked committee leaders deemed hostile to the initiative from opening debate on the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020, preferring House leaders loyal to President Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga. Wow. Devolution counties lose shillings 40 billion. Governors will have to wait much longer for the passing of a new law to facilitate disbursement of the withheld funds after MPs amended the Division of Revenue Bill yesterday in compliance with the High Court ruling. That's on page 8. 6,000 list on first day as itches it land system. Yeah. After 6,000 Kenyans yesterday registered on the new online land management portal, even as lawyers and land experts fault that system itches that delayed transaction and frustrated users. Being its first day of use after Tuesday's launch by President Kenyatta, the digital system known as ADUMA was yesterday marked by the delays in registration of transaction accounts, which is the first step of using the platform. This led to difficulties in accessing land transaction services. Conveyance lawyers told the nation, it's not even 24 hours old. He has also started to get youth from shares of violent extremism. 20 people daily. The BBI debate kicks off on a stormy start. Special sitting. Constitutionality of the bill dominates the debate in National Assembly, while the Senate Raila's ODM allies clash over whether they amend the document or not. That's on page 4. James Orengo, the Constitution does not just say pass, we consider and pass. So there must be evidence for posterity why we amended the Constitution. I think sometimes Orengo wakes up. Kuna kama kingine kwa Orengo anaamkanga saa zingine and he lives up to his self as a man who is constitutional. Ogengo Mogeni, the moment the committee made a finding that this is a bill under Article 257 of COK, then becomes the property of the people of Kenya. Which people of Kenya? Aden Duale, what is the value of public participation in the Constitution of Kenya? Amendment bill conducted by the committee. John Buddy, you can never get everything you want. A lot of our views as a party were captured and others were not, but this is just a game of give and take. Junaid Mohammed is a process that began with Kenyans. There is no more public participation than collecting 4 million signatures and passing them over to IBC. Wow, it's going to get crazy. Comment, this is my promise to Kenyans. This is my promise. Yeah. Haya. Hadi ya Koome anasema in a first statement after a nomination, CJ Judge assures Kenyans of unwavering commitment to serve the best of our abilities. Okay, interesting time. Kagwe bans India flights over COVID-19, 834. This was positive from a sample of 8,498 with a positivity rate of 9.8%. 853,881 persons have been vaccinated countrywide. Okay, El Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe during a visit to Mwatate Hospital in Taita Taveta County, where inspected the institution's COVID-19 preparedness yesterday. Tributes pour in for fifth columnist, that is Philip Ochieng, ambaye ametuacha. Safiri salama kaka. Haya, tukifunga kiosk, nianza na wewe KIPRO TICH, alafu turudi kwa AYIELA.
Okay, Gerald, I think the ban on Indian...
Nafunga kiosk, yes.
Okay, my final comments, before I come to my final comments, I think the ban on Indian flights was a long overdue, and I think CS made the right decision. Regarding the debate in Parliament, it's not really that Orengo wakes up sometimes. Orengo is a very intelligent man. Only that most of the guys in ODM they are very intelligent people. But only that because of psychophancy, survival for political seats, they have to just make the decision against their wish. If you want to know what I'm saying is, look at, I hope you read the statement by Kiraitu Murungi, that we have always, sometimes I have advocated for ideas which are not my own. So politics basically is sometimes is a very tricky game. And I hope in future we are going to get leaders who are able to stand up for something that if this is not constitutional, let us say this or no. Not because my party leader say this and this. So, and that is now, it's awakening call for our young people. Our young people of this country are 75%. And in the last census, 2019 census, those between the voting age 18 and 35 years, they are 13.7 million. And if you compare that vis-a-vis the registered voters in 2017, there was around 19 million. The young people are around 70%. Basically, what this means, we as young people can elect our own president. So my last comment is, I'm urging the young people to wake up from their slumber. Let us not be those people who are paid 550 bob just to trend nonsense hashtags. Let us stand for our country and reclaim the glory and sovereignty we have under Article 1 of the Constitution. Thank you, Gerald.
Okay, asante sana. Thank you so much, Lucia.
So there's going to be 4 million other young people, first-time voters, adding to that 13 million in 2022. And it's important for us to make good governance our business, because politics affects all manner of things. But Leo, I just want Kenyans to appreciate the kind of power that they have. When I was trying to register a company limited by guarantee, trust me, watu wa BRS walinipatia a lot of trouble. And I made noise about it on Twitter, and that video went viral, I think, in 2 hours. Even someone tried to bribe me. Imagine.
Wow.
But then that noise was helpful. Pesa kidogo aki Gerald, mtu alinidharau sana by that, acha tusiongelele maneno. Chachu tusiongeleo story. Nili reverse your transaction by the way. Nili reverse your transaction, niko like shika hizi peanuts zako bana. You know. So now it's the power that we have. If we cannot go to demonstrate on the streets. Boniface Mwangi anashindanga amepost to videos za vitu za watu wanaweza fanya. Kuna siku alisema if you ever drive past State House, nunua tumatishu mingi alafu drive ukizirusha na uko ndani na upite uende.
Mara mwisho kuna jamaa alipigwa risasi hapa.
You know, there's things that we can do, and the uproar on the IMF loan, manze, is the height of it. Like for me, that is Kenyans exercising Article 1 of the Constitution. It's Kenyans saying like, yo,
this is our country.
That man is no longer representing us. We are representing ourselves now. It's not going to achieve much maybe, but then it shows us the kind of power that we have. Unajua tulitetemesha serikali yosi for like 3 straight days tulitetemesha serikali bana, wadi wakatafuta propaganda. So if we decide today we are flooding a website na unajua hizi website za hapa za ministries za hapa kwetu zimetengenezwa vibaya. So if we decide today we are flooding website ya Ministry of Finance, ita crash bana, you know. And probably those are the things that we should be doing. Me kwanza, I want to urge young people, if you are unemployed, if you have lost your job, if you are at risk of losing your job, manze, start spamming this government websites with emails bana. Too many emails. Hata kama ni ngombe umechora, bora ni email umetuma. Spam them and crash all these websites. Bring the whole internet to break the internet and not in Kim Kardashian style bana. Just break the internet in Kenyan style. Ndio wakae wakijua hiyo technology yenye wanashinda wakitupatia hapa pia inaweza fanyika in activism. You know, we are not short of ideas bana. We know how to do these things. If you can protest hapo mtaani, protest mtaani kwenyu. Hakuna venye karao anajua chuo mingi za mtaa yako kukushinda. Protest hapo, na akitokelezea mse kanyaga yako yote hata kushika. Na akikushika unipigie simu nitakutafutia lawyer.
Asa umekuwa plug sasa ya mawakili. Thank you so much.
Directory.
Thank you KIPRO TICH and Lucia for coming in. It's happy to see you again, Lucia. Karibu hapo utasahau majengo tena. Karibu kama majengo. Usijaribu kusahau majengo. We will deal with you perpendicularly. Bridget, comment on YouTube. Good to see you. Asante sana. Ongoya Wambola, glad to be joining you. Asante sana. We appreciate. So it's seeing on Facebook. Naona Pauline amefika. Pauline Cherop. Zahem naona pia Berilo Mondi wa Shira. Berilo Mondi wa Shira bana. Uliacha kazi ya Deaconess. Don't know what happened, ulipotea. Lakini it's good to see you again. Also the guys in diaspora. Asante sana Jola Rama for making time today, and Monda for being with us. I really appreciate. May God bless you. And we hope to see you again next week. Na mwisheni wa majamaa ambao walipotea. Nashukuru sana. The technical who have been with us. We really appreciate that you give us time and your conversation that we've had. And we're happy that we have a conversation with you. Until tomorrow on Sharia Wiki. Kesho tuko na rais ya netwa nini? Polsk. The president of the LSK of Kenya, Nelson Navi, kwenye Sharia Wiki na Daktari Ekuru Kot na pia kana Daktari Ojwang. Tuweza kuzungumzia mambo ya sheria on Sharia Wiki. Until tomorrow, see you guys, take care. Kesho tuonane. Sharia Wiki comes to you every Friday. Tuko na president of LSK Nelson Navi na Daktari Ekuru Kot. See you and bye bye.